welcome to episode 234 of Flicks in a Six. Like Sundance, but with significantly less prestige and more beer. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Costanzo. With me forever Noah is the man, the myth, the man of beer, Alessandro Biolsi. Say hello, Al.
I can't believe no one at the Emmys thanked Sal Saperstein.
That was the greatest running joke for like 20 minutes in that show. It was so fantastic.
It's funny. You said you had no idea the Emmys happened. I didn't know the Emmys were happening until like Saturday, the day before they happened, because I was watching college football and they were running ads for it during college football. And I was like, oh, that's tomorrow. Great. I never watched the Emmys. I never remember when they take place. And I was like, okay, that's a thing that's happening. I'm sure Anthony and Kim will watch. I won't.
Yep.
And then yesterday, the day before, I saw people talking about, I was seeing little like dribs and drabs of which shows were winning a bunch of Emmys, some of the specific big category winners. And then I saw that the studio, was nominated for a million things. It won a few things. And I started seeing that running joke. And I was like, oh, that's disappointing. That would have been a perfect cap to that if one of them actually dropped the line or did like of their like a real life version of that riff where they kept thanking someone who was like seemingly insignificant to like the people outside the business,
Yeah.
If all of them totally kept thanking someone that no one's ever heard of who like doesn't work in Hollywood, it would have been perfect. It seems like they didn't take that opportunity, which is a little disappointing. But
that's a shame. Well, we'll get into that a little bit deeper later. But on this week's episode, I missed the Emmys. Robert Redford passes early reviews of one battle after another news and nuggets. All before diving into our flick of the week.
What's this now? Oh yeah, I definitely did see that trailer.
All before diving into our flick of the week, Superman. But first, Al, what's on tap?
In honor of the fact that unfortunately we will be missing. I know it's not our fault. Unfortunately, we will be missing this year's Hudson Valley Craft Brew Festival because it was officially announced and put on sale way later than it normally is. We unfortunately had scheduled already prior to that by several weeks the D'Amico clan's Oktoberfest, which, if you're having cognitive dissonance of a Sicilian last name hosting a German festival, that's understandable. But that being said,
it is what it is.
something Axis powers, I suppose. But anyway, yeah, me and Anthony will be otherwise occupied that day and not able to make it to Newburgh, it's in Newburgh now, the Hudson Valley Craft Brew Festival. I also already just made the realization the other day, Gianna's wedding, there's a chance that ends up conflicting, and I said, oh, I swear to God, if I have to miss it too because of your wedding. I said it tongue in cheek, but I was making that realization in that moment. Like, oh no, that
she's gonna get a weird RSVP from me that says also Al's not coming.
Now listen, the wedding is gonna be in the afternoon / evening in the city of Newburgh.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is, if we disappear a couple hours,
it's just a matter of effort, is what you're saying.
Pre-ceremony, we're only going to be...
Who's going to miss you at the ceremony?
Well, considering I'm in the wedding party.
There's a giant gap up front.
I feel like I saw a giant man earlier, and now I don't see him. What happened to him? We're going to be half a mile away.
Yeah. Okay.
If it happens on that day.
Yeah.
But in honor of that, which would actually, as of this recording, be like next weekend, so like a week after you would be listening to this episode, hopefully. In honor of that, we're going to drink Anthony's favorite beer from Craft Beer Fest last year.
Hell yeah.
A beer that, unlike what Anthony's accusation, is not 3 years old. It is only almost exactly a year old.
That's right. You know what really sucks about this whole thing is that I'm pretty sure at least 5 times over the last year I've been like, is that thing we went to coming up? Because I'm dying to go to it again.
I know. I was keeping an eye out for it. I had been talking about... Oh, by the way, because I don't think we talked about it in the show. I don't remember the last time we recorded. My sister got engaged. So, yeah, we're talking about this wedding. time is a flat circle and time is an illusion and all that jazz. I don't remember when it was that we recorded last. I feel like it was around the time that they formally got engaged. I had already known like a month beforehand that was...
The wedding is brought to you by Flicks of the Six.
Incumbent. Oh, we could sponsor it. If there's like a lull, like the DJ's gonna go on break, we can do like a tight five, like just you and me, like riffing on like whatever movie we watched that week.
We gotta get a recording in this week. We're just up on a dais with microphones.
I take off my shirt.
That may happen either way.
Well, sure, but actually, no. I don't tend to disrobe during weddings, even if I've had lots of drinks. So
yeah, like a Burt Kreischer. Yeah.
No. I mean, I can relate, but not in formal settings.
You'll take only certain articles off of you, like a tie, and put them in a precarious location.
Like a tie, which will possibly go missing to only be rediscovered in the crucial moment.
I'm so sorry.
Anyway, so we're drinking... we did... Actually, it was funny. I was looking back, because I wanted to make sure. I was like 99% sure we hadn't done this. So yeah. I looked back to last September, because that was when Craft Beer Fest was. And one of those episodes, it might have been the one immediately after that we did it, we did Newberg's Aspire Boss, which was Newberg making a beer in collaboration with Aspire. But this is the other one. This is Aspire's collaboration with Newberg, one that they did in collaboration with them, but that Aspire actually brewed. So this is Newberg Aspirations. The burgh is parenthetical. It's a hazy pale ale. They took inspiration from Newberg and used a shot of the Hudson Valley. Not with the same type of art and color that Newberg does, but
and just like
much
this year on the can art, we are noticeably absent.
Well, I mean, now it's fun. We got the logo up top. We got the A for Aspire, which has an infinity symbol in there. And then we have a Newberg Brewing thing. And Anthony, I want you to take quick note of this. And I'll show you two things. You got your can. I'm going to show you my can. I'm going to show you my glass too, because I got my Newberg glass too. And if you want to just, like, if there's a theme that you're noticing amongst all of them, there's a Newberg logo, and it's in the shape of a heart. And on the one side
of the heart,
it's a beer with a frothy head over the top of it. On the one half, like, it's called two of the ventricles in the heart, whatever. But it's two of the four chambers, I guess, right? And
wow.
So Newberg, if you look really closely, and it's not on the can one because they have it washed out in like some sort of gold leaf. But if you look at the one on my glass, what it says is brewed with heart.
Oh my goodness. So you have
the beer and the shape of a heart.
That's a logo.
That's a logo.
That's a logo and a tagline. Newberg killing it.
This is part of the Conspire series. It's a pale ale brewed with our friends at Newberg Brewing. And unfortunately there's no story, but this is from Middletown, New York. You got kind of a two-tower situation, Middletown and Newberg. Two of the crucial points along I-84 in Orange County. One on the river all the way to the east. One dead center of the county.
Great houses. The lodges and the clearings.
I was going a little bit more Sauron and Saruman.
I know.
The correspondence between the Tower of Orthanc and Barad-dûr. You got Christopher Walken talking about otters and sea urchins.
I thought that Moby Dick was a venereal disease.
Oh, that's a great joke.
Oh, man.
This is made
what kind
with
of hops we got in this?
4 different types of hops. Your favorite, the Citra hop.
Quad hop. You know it.
It's got Chinook, a classic.
I think Chinook is up there, too.
Well, Chinook and Centennial is part of the core 4. I guess it's core 5 now, maybe. The core 5 hops, the 5 C's of IPAs. There's Chinook, Centennial, a third kind.
And the fourth one.
It's like, it's been a while. I've been out of the game for a little while, but there's 4 or 5 C's that are very common in should I look that up? Probably. There's also Mosaic, which I know you like as well.
Yeah, I do. But Citra is obviously
Citra's the lemony guy, and Mosaic is the more grapefruity.
I feel like Citra's an interesting balance of lemon and grapefruit, but I just love it. And this beer looks delightful, and I aspire to drink it. So, cheers.
Okay, so I was going to say Columbia, but it's Columbus. So
Columbus.
So it used to be known as the 4 C's. It was Cascade, Centennial, Columbus, and Chinook. But it's been increased to the 5 Cs, and Citra is the 5th C. So Citra is kind of relatively new in the core IPA hop game.
Sharks in the salsa. Our shark.
I'm sorry, what?
I said our C, which then made me think our shark, which then made me think Clerks, which is when he's got salsa shark and he's doing a Jaws scene.
I need to rewatch the original Clerks because I remember almost none of the actual lines and jokes from that movie.
I love that movie so much.
It's not as good as Our Steak.
Our Steak, rest in peace.
Was it Arthur's?
Yeah.
They don't exist anymore?
Not that one. Not the one we used to go to.
Okay. That's it.
But
hang on. Cheers. While you sip, I'm just going to sniff. I can tell that even though it's been a year,
it's as good as I remember. Oh, it's just like...
Still delightful.
It's just the right balance of like that citrusy, and that mouthfeel is fantastic. And it's like creamy, but not like an over like a crazy like lactose creamy. Like it's just it's got, and on top of it being like feeling like having like that like kind of thickness to it, it's also somehow airy. I don't know what thickness they've got going on. It's a tasteful thickness.
Let's look at Paul Allen's card.
The greater the mess, the stronger the force of attraction, Al.
No, I was going more for American Psycho than anything. This one's bone.
The eggshell, the other one?
Yeah, eggshell, there's a few different. They're all fucking right, man.
Yeah. That's
They prefer his card to my card. The cardstock has a tasteful thickness.
I remember watching that movie for the first time and just being like,
very nice.
What's going on? Like, what did I sign up for?
Yeah.
Oh, man. This beer is an absolute treat. I've only had one sip so far. I don't need the other sips. Quad fuck.
Quad fuck. You know what? In honor of us
loving... coveted quad fuck.
Loving our time last year, lamenting our lack of time this year, and this beer still being damn good after a year. I'm going to go quad thucks with you. I love this beer as well. It didn't transcend all the other beers for me the way it did for you, but I really love this beer. It's a fantastic beer.
I do think I'll go quad thucks with you should be the t-shirt. For those of you who aren't aware of our rating system, because it has been a minute, so like sometimes when we take a break, we get a weird spike in listenership because I think it's like, oh, new show, and it's like, no, we're just back. But
what doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
We have a thuckle rating system that is a thuckle is a half of a thumb, like the thumb knuckle.
That's one whole thumb knuckle. Yeah.
So quad thucks would be 4 thumb knuckles, which is 2 thumbs up.
Yes.
I don't quite remember. I was never a fan of like half stars.
Well, I was just gonna say you were the person who, for a long time, hated like half steps on grading systems, but then you chose to break the convention of 1 or 2 thumbs up, 1 or 2 thumbs down, and create the thuckle system, which. Yeah. I love, but I was shocked that you were the progenitor of that.
Yeah, you know what's crazy to me at this point, though, is I don't know that we've ever gone thucks down.
Since we have created the thuckle system, we have not had a negative thuck beer.
No thucks about it.
I don't give a thuck. I swear to God.
But quads we haven't got maybe once or twice. Like, did we ever really give out quads
since the thuckle has been instituted? I don't know if there couldn't have been more than one unanimous for thuck. There's probably been 1 or 2 that one or the other.
Yeah, like I or you. Yeah. I got
There's probably only been like one
unanimous.
Unanimous.
This is a unanimous
8 thuck.
This is getting. It's getting better and better. A unanimous quad thuck. All thucks up. This is a fantastic beer. You showed me this brewery like some pictures of it, and I know we plan on hitting it up at some point. Maybe since we're not going to be doing the beer festival, we'll do this for this time of year. We'll go there or something.
Okay, that works.
But this is, I got nothing else. This is a great. If you could get your hand, well, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't get your hands on this one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm pretty
an elusive quad thug.
I'm pretty sure this was like a one-off beer. I don't think they continue to exist, unfortunately. But
Ducks in the wind.
They do. They should consider like highlighting it and doing it again at some point. And sometimes these breweries do that. I mean, like Newberg's done that before, where they've had like a seasonal beer or one that they had on for a while that they stopped making for several years. They'll bring it back for like a limited run. I would love if they would
Sour Jessica Porter.
Sour Jessica Porter was one that was it. Like, so that
wasn't even the name though, right? That one, that was my name for it.
So
it was like Jessica's Sour Porter.
It was Jessica. A sour porter. It was like a sour black cherry porter that we started calling
fantastic.
That we started calling Sour Jessica Porter.
Which it was right there.
It was.
That's on them.
And by the way, fantastic beer.
Oh yeah, totally. The only thing Newberg's done wrong was name that beer incorrectly.
No. There's one other one that they would have it off and on. I resisted for the longest time trying it. I finally tried it. I didn't like it, but at least I tried it. It was one of those like salty beers. It was
not
called
salted
like
nut roll.
No,
which was a quad thuck. That had to be a quad thuck.
Oh, I think that may have predated the thuck, but it was a two. It was a two thumbs up. So same thing.
Yeah.
So it was called. Oh, I don't remember. I'm sure if I looked it up, it might be online somewhere, like logged somewhere in the the annals of dead internet somewhere. It was something oyster, and it was like super salty, and I fucking hated it. Actually,
did you make me try that? That sounds like something I tried and hated.
So we tried. Are you talking about for the show?
I don't know if it was for the show.
Because there's probably no way that you would have actually had this one, because I had it one time, and they didn't have it all the time. They would have it like once or twice a year for like a couple of years, like early on when I used to be going to like Trivia Weekly there. So this is like probably before the first time you ever even had gone there. We did do a salty beer for the show pretty early on. It was I forget the name of it, but it was from Six Point, the Brooklyn or Queens brewery. You know that brewery? We've done a couple of there for the show. They had one that like it tasted like seawater, and I was like, this is bad. We neither of us liked it. That might have been our lowest rated beer on this show.
We said the 4 C's of hops, not the 7 C's.
Yes, tasted like the 7 C's. So this was Black Oyster Cult. It was a
okay.
It was
I feel like maybe I just remember you talking about this.
I'm sure I must have told you about it. It was a goza, a black goza from the second runnings from our Imperial Stout, which we lit sour for 2 days and then added whole shell oysters during the boil.
Why?
I don't know. I hated it. It was one of those niche beers that there were people who loved this beer, and like more power to them. And I give them credit for being inventive and trying something different. I hated it.
Oyster people.
Not saying it was a bad beer. I just didn't like it like at all. Yeah. So it just wasn't for me. I think the only of these salty beers, not including salted nut roll, that's a whole different thing. Like any of these like salty beers I've had, which is I've had probably 3 or 4 of them, like the 6.1 that we talked about, this one.
Sequench Ale.
Sequench from Dogfish Head. That one's okay. I don't mind that one.
It used to be.
It's a decent.
I think the formula changed a bit. It's not the last time I had it. It was not.
I don't know. It's been a few years since I've had one, but like I've had it a couple times and I didn't mind that beer.
Yeah, I remember Sequench Ales in the Ravine Drive hot tub. Remember that minute where I had a hot tub?
At your last house.
Yeah.
I do remember you had it. I didn't go in it, but okay. I do remember you had it. It took me a second because I never went in it.
Sure, that's fair.
It was off to the side,
nice.
on the side pasture grill over there.
That's right.
Yeah,
that then became the grill patio. Once that was gone,
that sounds right.
Awesome. This beer is tremendous. Already halfway through it and sad. You already have another one on deck, which makes me sadder.
Well,
But
I had two ideas. I grabbed this beer. While I was looking around, I was like, "Oh, what should we do? Let's pick a good one." I mean, part of the reason we haven't had like a negative suck is because I do try to pick beers I think we'll like, just in the same way that we largely tend to pick movies we think we'll like, which is why mostly
sure,
our reviews end up being stronger. Because I mean, every once in a while you have to pick a movie that looks like it's going to be terrible, and you might pick a beer.
Would you say that oyster beer was a delight?
In the sense that I used it on the Phantom Thread review, then yes.
Yes.
No, you know what? No, because as much as I was sarcastic about them, I did that purely to piss you off because I knew how much you hated that movie.
Yeah.
And if you remember from when we were talking about there were things about that movie I did appreciate from an artistic standpoint. Even though I didn't particularly like the movie, I did I didn't appreciate that beer. I do like the Imperial Stout. That was its initial because that was from the what the hell is that one called? I don't remember the last time I had it. It was the Russian Imperial Stout that they do during the winter. It's been probably a few years since I've had that one. So they don't really they don't can it all the time. They've canned it a couple times, but it's usually just an on tap one. Really, really good Russian Imperial Stout. High alcohol, super sweet, but in a good way. That sweet bitter balance goes on. And I'm struggling to remember the actual name of that beer right now, but I appreciate that is what it is a derivative of, and that's about it.
Fair enough. This is wonderful. Thank you for pulling this one from our collection. We needed it. It's been a minute. Yep. Happy to be here. And with that, I think we should get into some news and nuggets.
Okay, if you insist.
Sorry, this time I took a pause. You know why I took a pause, Al? Because I'm going to write down the goddamn timestamps. I'm going to try to get all of them this time.
Listen, we're a little out of practice. We've done even
when we've got 50 episodes in a row, I'm still missing timestamps.
Sure, but we've done 8 episodes in the last 52 weeks, so
yeah, that's right. For those listening, there's a strong correlation between me writing the timestamps down and the episode releasing on time. It just makes editing that much easier.
I'm sure that is a deterrent. I didn't know it was that 1-to-1, but I'm sure that is a.
It's just one. It's one other thing that I don't have to think about. I can just jump right to it and start my edit. It's just it's why I do it.
And listen,
I'm sure there's tools out there to make this easier, but
on occasion,
I have a system and it works.
On occasion, I forget to fill out the card with all the details for you to pull and add them in there.
You filling out the card is the other thing that helps because when you're the card's done, I'm
I have no excuses.
Now down.
Which is funny because I went through the inverse of that, whereas I could have made my notes current, but I didn't because I hadn't heard back from you because we've had a lot of close calls where we had to blow off an episode, and it always hurts me when I have a really well developed set of notes and everything to go, and then we don't do it. So sometimes I procrastinate until I get the 110%. We're definitely doing the show. But it's been a minute since we did the show. We did 2 out of 3 weeks in the summer, early summer, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things have happened since then. I'm going to do a quick rundown of those things.
Sure.
So I'm going to give you fill in the gaps. I'm going to mention a bunch of things.
Okay.
My sister got engaged. We saw you a few weeks later for my mom's surprise birthday. Somewhere in that timeline, you got a new job.
Right.
I went to Ireland.
I'm lighter now.
Oh.
From having a new job. I didn't lose weight, to be clear.
I thought you meant weight. That sounded like a weight loss.
Oh, no.
I went to Ireland for a week. We went to a concert.
That's right. A great concert.
Fantastic concert.
This is I want to say it's the 3rd time that I've seen Coheed and Cambria. And
it's at least the 2nd time you've gone with me and
with you. So. Yeah, I think I had seen them once before, in my earlier concert going years. But it was a treat to see one PNC packed to the gills. I haven't seen it that full in a very long time, which was pretty cool. 2, just everybody just kind of on their feet enjoying the music and no dicks. I don't know. Like, I'm sure at somewhere on the lawn there were people being annoying, but like everybody was like in a
I gotta be
relatively
honest.
good
I was a little
mood. You were a
I was a
dick?
little annoyed with the guys sitting in a row.
Oh, why is that?
Those guys got up and down like 8 times during the.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But that's the worst of it. But people were like really into
They
it. And
weren't
also,
being like overtly dicks, but like it was
they weren't ruining the
obnoxious how
show.
many times like
Just
all
yeah.
6 of them, had to go up and
The
down.
train the train has to like leave the station and then come back in. But those guys can play their instruments. My goodness.
They sure can.
They're fantastic. It was great. Great set design.
Artists. Yeah.
Timely presence on stage. They put out a notice of when they were going on. On that minute, they were on the stage. I like that. Punctual.
There was literally 1.5 down notes to that. The one, mostly my fault. We just left later than I wanted to. For all of the things I did to try and leave work early that day, still left an hour later than I was planning.
What are you gonna do?
Thankfully, we didn't hit too much traffic. We did miss the one mystery opener before Taking Back Sunday, who was co-headlining with them. But really, it's a Cohen and Gabriel tour because they're touring their new album. And then we got to the venue right around the time the gates were supposed to be opening and they were supposed to be starting the first act, which is fine because we had a long walk to go back. The real mean down note was how fucking long it took to get inside the venue. Considering we were walking in
35 minutes, right?
At least it was well over half an hour to get in, and this was half an hour after the event was supposed to start, which the gates had been open 2 hours prior to that. So it was a little.
They had roughly 3 people working at the venue.
They had like 12 lanes of like security available to them, and they had 6 of them open. So that right then and there is, and like you said, this is the fullest I've seen it in some time. I mean, Did they even
have that many? I didn't even think they had 6. I think they had. Oh yeah, they had 5 regular and 1 fast pass.
Well, it was the non-bag lane, which was the one we went in, which was faster once we finally got directed to that lane. But
until
Dominic got randomly selected, as he always does for some reason.
Oh my gosh!
But the show itself was fantastic. That's the best.
Burger was good. Beer was decent.
Solid. Beers were good.
Yep.
That's the best open air show I've seen them do. Nice. I say that because while they are very capable of playing a kick-ass set outdoors in an arena or whatever, it's different. Just the energy is different, and it has nothing to do with the band. I mean, of course, they feed off of a lively crowd, but like as a viewer / listener, it's entirely different when you go to a smaller indoor venue where every single person is there for them and them alone, versus going to a bigger outdoor. There's seats. Even though most people were standing the whole time, it's just not the same as being in a standing room only, like ballroom type of thing. Where
when you're at the amphitheater, there's a notable like percentage of people that are just there because it's a concert.
And to be fair, like Taking Back Sunday is like a pretty big band in their own right, and probably 30% of the people or 20% of the people or something like that was there for them, And that's fair.
Yes, but they were out in the parking lot because they couldn't get inside.
Well, and it was super cool that and I forget his name, but the singer from Taking Back Sunday came on and did that encore song with them at the end. That was really cool. But the show was fucking awesome. The set they played was you're never gonna get a perfect set from a band that's got like 10 albums. Like there's always gonna be that song that you wanted to hear that they didn't play, and there's someone else who loved the song that they played that. It's like, oh yeah, I could have took or leave that specific song being played in the show, but they played right through. They took 2 very short breaks, one for the band to actually take a break, and the other one for them to unveil the fully functional form of their set design with that giant animatronic thing that they brought out, which was pretty cool. But they played for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
it was 9:30 to 11.
They played 9:30 right up to curfew. They ended right then.
And of that hour and a half, they probably weren't playing song for like 7 minutes total.
Yeah.
So we got our
That was
money's
good.
worth out of that part of it, so that was
Definitely.
pretty awesome.
Great show.
And then the postscript on all the things going on is you and me and everyone is going to get together in like a week and a half for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
The aforementioned
We'll recap Oktoberfest on that week's episode.
Yeah. Or
Are
like
you
3
bringing
months
the
from
beer?
now, whatever.
Al's bringing the beer for Oktoberfest?
I can actually. I typically tend to bring Newburgh beers. They just released their yearly Oktoberfest beer, so I'll grab some of those. But they also just released another beer, so I might grab some of those as well. So mix and match a little
Nice. Do I make? Here's the thing. I always order pretzels kind of last minute because I'm in charge of pretzels, and there's not really like a good place to get like a nice beer garden pretzel around here that I could order in bulk and get them. So I always end up getting like these Philly Pretzel Factory pretzels, and they're fine. They're they do the trick.
The one year you got really good pretzels. I don't remember where you got them from.
It's always been the same place.
Oh, is it? Because I feel like the last 2 or 3 years they've been consistent. Like I feel like they're the same one, but I thought one year you got them somewhere different.
No, I've always gotten them these, but I was thinking of trying to make them myself this year. So we're gonna see how that goes. If I could find the time,
okay,
to get this all together. Never made pretzels, but why not? Then they could actually look like I want them to look. Maybe I can even get some of those like wooden coat hanger things to put them on. I just come in with a coat hanger that you actually stand by a door, like a real coat hanger.
Oh, like a stand-up pretzels
on
it.
Like, yes. With an umbrella bin at the bottom. That's where the mustard is.
I've always liked the pretzels. I've always liked when you bring the pretzels. Everyone likes the pretzels. Everyone attacks the pretzels when you bring them in. I do think there's been 1 or 2 years that you've probably been less D'Amico Costanzo and more Biolsi and brought 3 or 4x the amount of pretzels that are required.
It's a whole catering order pretzel problem. It's like this like weird.
It's like you're always like, oh, maybe I shouldn't get the pretzels anymore. There's always a ton left over, and I said, no, Anthony, everyone loves the pretzels. It's just that we can't each eat 5 of them. That's
yeah, but that's the thing. I'm pretty sure like my options are like 5 or 30. It's like a very weird, and like I could get somewhere in between, but it's not cost effective.
Wow.
So I get the 30. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I do think
it's cheaper for me to get the more.
The 1 year right off the bat, didn't you like freeze a bunch of them, and like that was the right call.
Yeah,
that was the right call.
We put some in the freezer, and then.
It's also dependent on how many people are there, because like some years there's been some wild swings. Like I feel like consistently it's roughly the same amount of people. But like 1 year, didn't like
2 years ago we had a big
cookie came up, and like it was like we had like 60% more people than we normally have that 1 year.
Yeah. The Ant Grace tribe was there.
That's right. Yes. Okay.
No, it was a big group of people. But every year, thanks to Uncle John starting that at the Black Forest Brew House.
Oh, I don't remember what it was called.
That's what it was called. It was such a shame because we used to go to this place on Long Island, and they brew their own beer. Outside they had giant tents and like the long tables, and they had the group playing some like German folk music and
polka.
It was great. Polka. And we they had like a Oktoberfest like buffet, like brats and things like that. You make your plate. We brought our own. Aunt Ginny would make her pfeffernuss cookies. It was great. It was a great setup with their beer.
Dominic would usually go win the Stein holding
contest. Yep. And then somewhere along the line, they stopped brewing beer.
That's correct.
And they didn't have their. And then it was like, all right, well now we're here. At least they still have the outdoor thing. And then the outdoor thing kind of went away. And it was like, you can sit outside, but just have like our inside menu. Yeah. Right. So then we were like, okay. And then like we tried a year or two of just like going to the restaurant. And it just, it just lost its essence.
Yeah, it wasn't the same.
And then we decided, why don't we don't have to go somewhere else. We can do this ourselves. And then my dad got weirdly obsessed with making sauerbraten for the family.
And to be fair, the sauerbraten's good. He makes good sauerbraten.
It's delightful. My dad, the German Costanzo in him, just crushing the sauerbraten. But no, it's a good time. It's a good time to be had by all. That's the catch up. That's where we've been since you heard us last.
That's been the summer. I'm gonna gloss over the details of the Ireland trip other than to say that it was great. I drank way too much beer and whiskey, but me and Anthony talked about that at the concert. So I'm gonna leave most of that by the wayside. You can reach out to us via one of our email things for the show. I will personally write you an email about my.
That's right, Alessandro. Do I have you whole named in there? Your email address?
Oh, that's a great question. I haven't been.
I think it's Alessandro at thespinchoon.com. Here's the deal. If you send anything to anything at thespinchoon.com, I'll get it. Don't worry about it. I got to catch all. It's going to be fine.
Are all of the at thespinchoon.com emails redirected?
Exactly. Like there's an Anthony. If you want to hit me up directly, if you want to get the show, it's flicksina6 at thespinchoon.com. But you are more than welcome. You can mistype that. I'm going to get it. Don't worry about it. I get some weird stuff in there. And the occasional e-bike sale. I don't know what that scam's all about.
Why did I need to sign into that like 2 months ago? Remember I asked you I needed to sign into it?
You needed your password for Trello?
That's what it was.
The show notes.
Yeah, I don't know why I got like locked out of Trello. It didn't make sense.
It just hadn't been in there for long, or a 2-factor or something.
It was some sort of, they changed their security or whatever. It was like, oh yeah, you're signed in via this, and I was like, I haven't opened that email in like 2 years. So
they're like, you should set up 2-factor authentication, and you're like, listen, guy, this is not that serious.
It wasn't.
These are turned into public facing notes.
Public facing notes for
anybody can have my account. It's fine
for a non-monetized podcast. By the way.
My password is that's right. We pay for the listeners to hear this.
It's true. We do.
I'm fine with it. You know why, Al?
Not a problem.
Because this is about hanging out with my cousin.
It's true.
Where it all began. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle absolutely destroyed the box office record for anime movie. Have you heard about this?
So I've been hearing about is there a Netflix one, or is that the same thing?
I don't know. I think that's another thing. I don't know. Here's the problem. Here's actually this is the reason I'm bringing this up.
Something K-pop, something or other.
K-pop demon.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. No, this is something else.
Okay.
But it a $70 million opening weekend for an anime is apparently pretty solid in North America. I'm gonna throw this out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. Anime is just not my thing. I've tried. I know I think we talked about this briefly when you watched something of something or other on Netflix.
Neon Genesis Evangelion. Yeah, it was like the most famous.
I got the of.
It's like one of the most famous animes of all time. Like from way back, from like the first, second wave animes. Yeah.
And even when you spoke about that, I was like, I gotta find something to get me through the door so that I can try to appreciate this thing. And I just haven't.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only one I've watched in however many years. So, it's the type of thing where it's like, especially it's become more like accepted in mainstream. Like even like to go back and watch the old weirder ones, and they're all some version of weird, and that's fine. Weird is cool. Unique is cool.
Sure.
It's the type of thing where it's, and we were talking about a little bit before the show actually started, is like, there's so many things I would love to watch. Like I'm years behind on like actual shows I wanted to watch. Mm-hmm. And there's some of those like I've like sounded interesting or like I've heard a lot of hype for, like this, like that good. And I'm like, oh, that might be cool to check out, and just haven't got around to it. But yeah, I don't like, it's not a regular part of my consumption diet for watching stuff. And there's a barrier to entry to there where it's just like, oh, there's like so many other different like live action things I would even think of. And it's not even like an animation part that's an issue, because I loved Archer, Family Guy, South Park. Like,
I have no problem with animated. That's the thing that I think there's here's my the only experiences that I really have where like I fully watched stuff in that genre were the Matrix. What was the Matrix thing?
The Animatrix?
The Animatrix. There was
Pokemon,
a couple of these Batman things that were released a ways back, and like Pokemon.
Yeah.
And like that's it. And I've tried a couple of things here and there like that sounded interesting or like were based on some property that I was familiar with. And the level of weird, which like you said, that's great. Weird is fine. It's just that for some reason there's something about it that is off-putting to me and I don't enjoy looking at it.
For me, it's not the looking at it's the.
I don't enjoy hearing it either.
Sometimes it depends.
I think I just don't like anime, and I think that that's okay.
That's true. You can not like it in a non-judgmental way. Like that's fine.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like you love it, go nuts.
Yeah.
I for some reason there's a block, and I can't find I'm unable to engage with it.
So one of the producers on the Levitard show had created this kind of like shorthand thing that like they've now like all kind of adopted it. Like so like there's the main show. There's a bunch of other offshoot shows that have existed or not existed or come back, whatever. One of the ones that they've gone for a long time is what they call the Mystery Crate. It's a weekly show that's just the producers. It's not the two main hosts at all. Just the producers. They used to record it all together after one of the shows. Now they sometimes record it in like 2 or 3 sessions during the course of the week, like before or after, whatever. So sometimes you'll hear like almost like a shift change through like the the course of the show. And one of them came up with like they were just talking about like different things. It was like this recurring bit. It was like that's something for other people, where it's like people love this thing, not for me. I don't care. I'm not saying like I'm better than it. I'm not saying you guys are stupid for liking that thing. It's just that's for you. That's for other people. It's not for me. I totally get why you like it, but I don't like it. You know, that's for other people.
I appreciate that. I think I'm gonna adopt that. The one that I've used so far was a line from Ted Danson in Good Place.
Okay.
Where there's a guy being it's basically it's a situation that we've all found ourselves in at some point or another where somebody in your perimeter or people that you're with decides to start having saying things that are political and or racist. And he just goes, they turn to him for a response and he just goes, "Oh, I'm not part of this." And I love that. I just love that complete, like, it's just casual. It's just a dismissal. It's just, I'm not part of this. And I'm not part of that. But that's for other people.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, I feel like what you're referring to, similar vein, but more like the dark side of this conversation, where this is meant to be like a more inherently positive thing, where it's like, this isn't like, it's no judgment.
I don't want to yuck or yum.
That's another way to say it is like, you guys love that thing, and I love that for you. I'm just not gonna be a part of that.
Yeah, I'm happy you're happy.
Yes. Versus I don't like what's happening over there. Don't associate me with that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Don't associate me with your weird animation. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's not for me. I have had people try to push it. It's like, oh, you just gotta you gotta give it like 10. I'm like, I don't have to give it 10. I watch a lot of stuff. I'm a pretty good judge if I like a thing or not, or I can like a thing. I just don't. It's just not for me. It's your thing.
I'm gonna attempt to create a bridge thing that hopefully is like a compromise that everyone can agree with. 3 episodes. Any show gets 3 episodes. If you're saying a thing is, oh, you watched the first episode, you didn't like it, and I said, hey, listen, give it 3 episodes.
Pilots are 90% trash. So
what's that?
The pilots are like 90% trash.
Or they're trying to take on more than they can handle. Like they're trying to they're trying to bite off more than they can chew. Like sometimes it's like a pilot's not bad, but it's like it's overstuffed because you know how much table setting you have to do to then become a normal regular show after that.
But they're so consistently bumpy that like one of my like measurements for a good TV show is like when that pilot hits and you're like, oh, like that's how you do a pilot. Yeah, like that's
well, like I think the pilot for The Americans was fantastic. It's also an hour and a half long. It's like
little room for depth there.
It's 2 full episodes of the show,
Sure.
Now, from the beginning, they nailed what like the tone they're trying to achieve. They do a really good job of establishing character, but to establish the concept of it's the 1980s, It's a fraught time sociopolitically in this country and the world, and we are going to do the anti-hero thing of telling you these are Russian spies in the Cold War. They're the bad guys. We know this, and yet you have no choice but to quote unquote root for them because they are the main characters of the show. And we're going to let you have enough of these, like, well, are they the bad guys or are they not the bad guys? Versus like a Tony Soprano who's not actually a anti-hero, right? He's the villain protagonist. Versus like a Dexter where there's maybe some ambiguity where it's like murder's wrong, but like they pull on the heartstrings of sympathetically.
Maybe.
Well, they pull on the heartstrings of like he's the Dark Avenger who's gonna clean up the things that society can't take care of the worst of the worst. Where like from a certain point of view, you can understand it even if you know it's wrong. You know, like
from
there's
a certain point of view.
Yeah, that was deliberate. But like it's a really long episode. But when you look at what they are trying to establish, it's understandable and it never drags. It's paced well. It's like watching a movie. But at the end of the day, it's still an hour and a half episode of television, which like usually you have to earn. Like we're 6 seasons into Game of Thrones and we have a massive spectacle of a battle we have to unfurl over the course of an hour of this hour and a half runtime, where it's like I'm fully bought into this versus I'm gonna buy into this based on the basis of what you're trying to do here.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but I think like whether the pilot's good or not, whether it's kind of stilted or if they really fucking nail what they're trying to set the table for, you can like or not like a pilot, but if it doesn't like work for you, the rest of the show might be really good, but it shouldn't take you a whole season to realize it's really good. I feel like 3 episodes is a pretty fair compromise where it's like, if you can't buy into a point by the end of the 3rd episode, it just might not be for you. And like, you shouldn't have an expectation of watching another 7 episodes or whatever.
That's fair. I think I got that. We got to that point with Killing Eve. We watched I think we may have even watched a full season of it, where after the first
you guys loved the first season and didn't like the rest of it, right?
I don't think so. I remember watching it and being like, like I like where it's going. I think maybe you're right. Maybe we watched 2 seasons and then like it trailed off. I just remember being like interested in the story at large, but then like it just like parts of it kind of annoying me, and then the execution being bumpy and weird. I have a problem with like odd with like blatant withholding in storyline. Like when you like, it's just, I don't know what it was. It just did not. It was bothering me, and I was like,
"Here, Buster, do you want a piece of candy? Oh, look at that! I'm withholding it. Look at me getting off."
Look at me getting. I just remember. I think we might have even gotten. We definitely got further than we should have, and that was like one of the first times where like I let it. Like I just kept going and going. I was like, I know that I'm not really into this, and we were watching it. It was like a sunk cost type of thing, and then ultimately we were just like, you know what? No, like I'm not. I'm finishing this, so we're gonna watch what happened. We're gonna just find out what happened.
I thought you guys did watch the whole thing because it's only like 3 seasons, right?
And we watched like a recap of like the rest of it because we were just like, where's this gonna go? Because we just couldn't do it anymore. And I was like, it went on too long before we got to that point.
I remember being confused because you told me you started watching it, and I feel like you guys pretty much raved about the first season. And then you were talking about like, hey, I was like halfway through the second season. I was like, oh, cool. And my recollection was like you guys were still enjoying it. And then you were talking about being like early in the 3rd season. You were like, yeah, the show sucks. And I was like, hang on a second. What? Like you guys were loving the show.
Maybe
and you
that's
were like,
what it was.
You were like, oh, we loved the first season and we really didn't like the second season. I was like, oh, I didn't get that when you kind of gave me your halfway update. It seemed like everything past the first season you guys didn't like anymore.
See, you even remember this better than I do, which is why I've put it out of my mind at this point because I was very irritated with the show by the end.
I definitely don't remember the details as to why you had fell out of love with it, but I feel like I remember
liking the first season sounds possible, and maybe that's why we definitely got further than that. But no, I don't know. It's just I'm trying to think. There's not been a ton of shows that we've stopped watching. like usually I could tell I'm a pretty good. I could tell usually from the first episode if I'll be able to keep going, even if the first episode's not great. Like that there's gonna be something for me here. But yeah. That was not it. But yeah, so back to that was kind of circling back to the anime thing, which was like I feel like I've tried on like 4 or 5 different occasions, like this thing sounds interesting to me, and I start watching it, and I just disconnect from it. Like I just don't. It just doesn't do it. And
so you didn't see
it's
this
for somebody else.
You didn't see this movie. Why did you bring it up? Just like it was noteworthy to you seeing the box office? Or?
I wanted to talk about this specific phenomenon that like I feel like I can't get into it. I was just it's anime seems to be having a moment in this, like, yeah, she's having a moment. But I won't be a part of it.
That's fair. And it's funny because I've now noticed this like weird crossover thing, because that was always like the nerd thing, the this thing, the that thing, it was like a thing that was like super niche, whatever. And like there's been some growing, like bubbling, like we went from being judgy about it or looking down on it to whatever, like that's your thing that you're doing over there, to now in a lot of ways it's kind of becoming one of like the core parts of like the social conversation amongst like a younger generation, where like it's been noticeable to me seeing like a weird cross section of this with like young athletes like going from like college into the pros, and a lot of them talk about watching anime a lot, and it's like that's not a group of people that like historically I expected like a wide level of acceptance of that sort of thing. So it has been a little bit curious from my perspective to watch that, the change of conversation around that, like in pop culture.
Yeah. The box office thing of 70 million opening weekend and like that being like a big deal was notable to me, just because like when I was like skimming headlines, the next thing was like how The Conjuring made like 333 million globally. And I'm like, man, people eat that shit up. Like I watched the first one.
Is this like
and
the
I was
sixth
terrified. Like yeah, I think so. It's also called Last Rites and is supposed to be the final one, I think.
Well, the funny thing is like Last Rites, and it's like this is the final, like the stunning conclusion. But I also heard that they have not officially said this will be the last one.
Oh, the final Warren chapter. So those two characters, I guess, those two like paranormal, like, so they'll probably do like,
so it's just the end of the Patrick Wilson,
Conjuring
Vera
side
Farmiga,
quests,
like part of it or whatever. Well, they've already done spin-offs of that series. I think.
I mean, why would I don't blame. Like, why would you turn off that money faucet? Like, people love it and they're eating it up, and nobody seems to be complaining about it. So do your thing. It's not for me, but they can enjoy it.
Was it like was it like the Annabelle movies or something like that? Where
I think those are in a related universe. Yeah, I think that's a spin-off.
There was like the Nun or something like that. I think that was like
part. Is that also a spin-off?
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. Annabelle, I feel pretty strongly about. The other one,
Annabelle, I think I can get behind that one, because isn't one of those two characters like in that movie? Or
maybe I never saw it.
And there's more than one of them, I think. Or Annabelle was in.
There was at least two Annabelles.
The Conjuring, and then became a movie. I don't remember. I remember watching The Conjuring in Hoboken, but back with when I was rooming with Michael Warren, and I remember it creeping me out.
Yeah, I'm just not like a big horror guy. Like we've talked about that in the past. Like I like a thriller. I like
love a thriller,
psychological mindfuck type of movie. But by and large, I'm not a horror guy. It's not like I'm scared of it. It's just I either find them to be boring or cheesy typically. Ones that are really good bubble up above the surface. I mean, like I have like a lot of respect for a movie like The Exorcist, stuff like that. But like, just overall not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's not particularly my jam. I find the genre fascinating, and like I've engaged with it here and there, and like and I've enjoyed some bits of it, but generally I don't like feeling like the hair on the back of my neck stand up like after I've watched something, like in a weird way, like especially like paranormal stuff I find to be a little bit even more off-putting like than just like a slasher film or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just not. Yeah, every once in a while there'll be one that breaks through that I do watch and end up like enjoying, but it's not like my go-to genre for sure. Not like some Gary's a big horror guy, right?
Gary watches horror movies for sure.
Okay. But yeah. Uh coming up to Robert Redford passed away, and I have to admit, I don't have a lot of mileage with his work.
Me either. And his passing, and this has been something that I've like thought about off and on here and there over the years, but like I have not seen a ton of his super well-known stuff, the movies that made him famous. I mean, for a certain time he was like one of the more famous like actors around, and like that's just like an era before we were like, off the top of my head, like really the best point of reference for me for him is him being in The Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. That I was trying to roll through his credits, and like that's the like I've definitely seen stuff over time, like over the years that he's been in, but nothing that like I could like call out immediately.
So one of the big ones I have not seen that I know he was in, at least I'm pretty sure it's that one, that I have wanted to see that's on the list, that infamous list of mine that's never shorter than like 100 movies that I could get around to quarterly. I think he was in All the President's Men. Like that's one that I have always I wanted to see for a long time. I just haven't got around to yet.
And I do think that I've seen that a long ass time ago. But I truly don't remember. And I know that is on like a rewatch list for me. I need to I have this long running list similar to what you're talking about, but it's in my brain.
Me too.
And I need to dump it out on paper. So
I've said it multiple times. I think I was talking about it with Mike in Ireland, actually. I need to probably at some point commit to formalizing the list, even in like the notes app in my phone, just to like keep track of it, because it's one of those things where it's like you sit down and you're like, oh, I truly don't know what I want to watch, but I want to sit down and watch something. It would be great to have the list and look at it and just like close my eyes, point my finger, and be like, that's the thing I'm going to watch. Yeah. I don't have to sit there and think about it and scroll through these things. I'm going to watch this thing that I've wanted to watch for like 8 years, that I think about twice a year, that I want to see it for 8 years.
Well, yeah, I have these like weird things like that I should totally do that, and I've tried that in the past and like had a list and then like been like, okay, we're just gonna shuffle it and grab something and watch that, but then you're just like, nah, I'm not really in the mood. I'm not, and then
that's the point. You sit down and say,
you have to commit.
I want to watch something. I don't know what I'm going to watch. It's different if you say, hey, I'm going to sit down and watch this, versus I want to watch something. I have the time to watch something. What do I want to watch? No. You close your eyes, you point at the list, that's what you watch. Doesn't matter what your mood is. Doesn't matter. Listen, you fucking commit to watching the thing.
I can do that on my own.
Yeah, it's when you're having a movie night with yourself.
Yeah.
It's different if you're sitting down and you're watching with your wife, you're watching with... Yeah. For me, if I was sitting down and watching something with my brother or my sister or whatever, like, it's different. It's a collaborative process. You're going to pick something between the two of you guys that you want to watch. Like, that's different. I mean, just you.
The list.
Sitting down. You got 2 hours. I'm going to watch a thing. What do I want to watch? I don't know. Consult the list.
Yeah, I should just do it. Make it a habit. Because anytime that I have done that, and I have done this occasionally where like I will scroll, like if I do find myself wanting to watch a movie, I am on my own, I might scroll through most of the time HBO, because I find they have a good selection of things that are on my list.
That's usually my first pick too.
Yeah, and then I have done that, and I've never regretted it. Like I throw the thing on, and I just go for it. We were away this weekend, and some Doors song just got stuck in my head, and I was singing it, and I had like this moment of like, that movie's on my list, the Doors movie with Val Kilmer, because like I was fascinated by the story at one point, and like I was interested in the music. This was years ago.
I never had a real interest to watch the movie, but when he finally passed, I was like, you know what, I really should watch that movie.
This had to be 15 to 18 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I just had this, and I was like, you know what? There's that Doors movie. My cousin was like, it's great. Like I
was just about to say, was this prompted by Kelly's poster of him?
No. Oh, Maybe no.
It was.
No,
She definitely had the poster
Big,
of him.
She definitely had the poster, but Big Jack was the one that turned me on to some of their music, and he told me about the movie, and I was like, oh, I should and this was back in the Blockbuster days where my friends worked at Blockbuster, and I would, after I closed the pizzeria down, I would go hang out until Blockbuster closed, which was like 1 or 2 a.m. And they always had like this bin of movies that was like dirt cheap, and there was a sealed the doors. It was like $5. I was like, oh, and I grabbed it, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this at some point. It's still sealed. It's here. It's behind me. It's in the case, sealed. I just never got around to it. Same with I was being curious about like the Underworld movies. Never watched them. Have them, all of them. Never watched them.
There was a long time where I had no interest, and then there was a certain point where I was like, wow, they made like 8 of those. It might be cool to check 1 or 2 of those out at some point. Still haven't got around to it. I can't say that I will in the next year or 3. But like occasionally I kind of think, man, they made a lot of those movies. A lot of people must have really liked them. Maybe I should watch 1 or 2 of them.
You know what it was? It was that. It was like that exact thing that you're talking about. I remember hearing like people enjoying it. Like, it's not like a groundbreaking, 10 out of 10 movie, but it's probably like good popcorn.
The first 2 were like, a lot of people like those movies.
But I also I really like Bill Nighy, and I was like, all the more reason. And I just like on a whim, it was like some weird Amazon, you like bundle these things together. I'm pretty sure it was like the collection for like $8 on Blu-ray. And I was like, sure. And I got them all, and I never watched them.
It was probably like 4 or 5 movies into that series before I realized that Bill Nighy was in those. And I like Kate Beckinsale well enough. Like she's solid actress, and it was probably to the point again where there's 4 or 5 movies out, and I was like, oh hey, that guy from Game of Thrones is in it too. That's interesting. He was in things before people knew him from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, what are there? Are there 5 of them?
Something like that. I don't know.
But he still remains. I love his stupid song in Love Actually. That song will creep into my head, and I'll just randomly sing it while I'm walking around.
Okay,
it's great.
I have to be honest. At this point, I can't
feel
recall.
it in my fingers.
That's right.
I feel it in my toes.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they changed the words for Christmas.
Yes,
for the Christmas album.
Yes, they do the same exact song, but they change like 5 words in the song or whatever. That's become a movie that we watch on Christmas morning for the last like 3 years now.
Nice.
Yeah, that's like we do presents with everyone, and then we have breakfast and we watch that movie, and then like begin the process of like being ready to host people for Christmas.
Nice.
It's a nice ritual.
Alan Rickman really pissed me off in that movie.
Yeah, he's a real shit.
Yeah. I don't want to feel that way about him. You know what I'm saying?
Although I will say the scene with Rowan Atkinson is probably the best scene in the movie, where he's buying the necklace or whatever for his mistress. It's the only scene Rowan Atkinson's in. He's the jewelry guy, and the whole thing where he's dumping the holly into the thing, and he's wrapped. I just said I wanted it wrapped. He goes, well, this is gift wrapped, and it's like 14 different steps. And this the one line that I remember that Rowan Atkinson says in there that I will occasionally break out since having seen, because I actually hadn't seen the movie until like 5 years ago. And it was like the 3rd or 4th time where Alan Rickman's like being like, come on, dude, like what are you doing? And he's like, it is but the work of a moment. he's like crushing the thing. He's like sniffing.
Man. What a gem. You want to know what I got back there? You already told me. Ass.
We're hauling ass. What a ridiculous person.
But so that's maybe we'll have to dip into the Redford catalog just in some remembrance, because like even though
Anthony, this is the first big summer of movies in years. We did none of them for the show. We're doing one today. We're doing one today, finally. Sorry, that's a lie. We did one of them. We did the Mission Impossible movie. That's the only one from the summer of movies. It was great. The first summer of movies in like, no joke, 6 years.
Yeah, I know.
So
we can backfill. We'll backfill.
but
We'll do
when we
this.
hit a
I
moment
gotta see
of like
Fantastic Four.
we
Still
haven't
dying
seen,
for it.
I still haven't watched it. I had this plan to watch a whole bunch of these movies that came out. I saw one of them. It was the Mission Impossible movie.
Life takes you places.
It sure does. But when we hit a moment where we're actually recording episodes, there isn't movies for us to see and do. Let's pick a Redford flick. Let's do it.
Yeah, sounds good.
I will say this. There's that one. It's funny because I saw some people copping to it today, or yesterday, I guess, was when he passed, right? There's that one GIF that a lot of people have used of that guy in like a stream in the woods, the heavily bearded, and he's kind of like knowingly nodding. And every person I feel like has gone through a phase of thinking that was Zach Galifianakis, and it's not. It's Robert Redford. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
There's a lot of people in the last 48 hours who are coming to terms with the fact that that's not Zach Galifianakis. And I had that moment myself. I always thought that was Zach Galifianakis. And 3 or 4 years ago, I figured I was informed that it was Robert Redford. I was like, what the fuck? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, that is Robert Redford from a movie I've never heard of before. But there was a moment where he was that famous. I mean, there's the joke in Watchmen, the comic, like the original graphic novel from 40 years ago or whatever that was written, that, you know, it's meant to be an alternate history of real life and all that, right? And there's a joke that the president RR, the former actor, it's not Ronald Reagan, it's Robert Redford. Like, he was that sort of famous back then, you know?
Yep. Yeah. Oh man. Well, we'll get to your catalog, good sir. We will get to it. What else? News and you had on here early reviews for One Battle After Another.
Yeah, so I didn't read through too much of them. I looked at a couple snippets. I had assumed you were kind of a similar boat to me, where like you were aware this movie was coming out, you'd seen some trailers. It seemed like
I was, and then I went out of mine, and then you jogged my memory.
Well, yeah, you required some prompting, and then you're back there and all that. But yeah, so it looks like the review embargo is either fully open or it's like opening in the first. Like, even if there aren't like published reviews that are out, then there's certainly the scores are coming out, and it's coming out really highly rated, like really high.
Okay.
It's Paul Thomas Anderson, which I actually didn't realize at the initial point of it. I just knew of it as like the new DiCaprio movie that's coming out. It was only the last week or so that I realized that it was a Paul Thomas Anderson. I saw the first trailer. I haven't seen any of the ones that come out since, because like I was already like vaguely intrigued. I was like, I don't really need to see more. I don't know if it was a movie I was like necessarily at that point clamoring to go see in the theater, but like I'm open to it if my schedule works with it. But I'm hearing it's really, really, really highly regarded. It's like the first movie that Paul Thomas Anderson has made that's like current time. Like a lot of his movies are like period pieces. This is like the first one of those he's done in like a while, I guess. And I'm not like a giant PTA guy, but like, you know, he does make good movies. I have respect for him, even if I don't love all his movies.
Yeah, I'm digging through.
I know you don't like Phantom Thread, but
well, yeah, like that.
I like Boogie Nights. Like, we did a good episode on that. I feel like
that was a good flick.
I did not.
Punch Drunk Love, never saw that.
I didn't
There
really.
Will Be Blood, There Will Be Blood, sealed on my shelf.
I that's actually a movie I never saw either, which is crazy.
The Master also didn't see it.
That's a movie I really want to see and have wanted to see for the 12 or 15 years since it's come out, and I still haven't got around to it. I never got Inherent Vice. That was a movie I wanted to see. Watched it after I was done watching it. It was like, why were people making a big deal about this movie? Like, it was fine. It was weird.
The Master's got Kate Winslet.
Yes, it does. And Joaquin Phoenix. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Lois.
What else? Licorice Pizza. I wanted to watch that and didn't watch that.
I honestly didn't really have much desire to, but I was gonna watch it for Oscar reasons and just never got around to it.
Oscar, yeah. Maybe this year we won't be sick for the Oscars. That'll be great. Love the Oscars. Would be so great. Much fun to watch. All right. Well, whatever. I'll check it out. We'll watch it. We'll do it. We'll see how it is. I'm not like clamoring to see this. I'm glad that the reviews are good. I am not I'm not gonna be like, oh, Paul Thomas Anderson's making a movie. It's gonna be great. That's not me. Leo's making a movie. It's gonna be great. Also not me. I think Leo had his moment. I think that I do think he's a very good actor.
I don't think it's fair to call it a moment. His moment was like 2.5 decades.
I don't know. He's been in some great stuff and he's given some great performances, but it's not like I don't know. It's just he's not a standout for me where like I see like, oh, he's got a movie coming out, I have to see it. But I'm happy to see something that he's in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. He's for you. He's for other people. No,
no, it sounds like you're regarding it a little bit more than that.
I like him a little bit more than that. Yeah. I do want to rewatch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I don't actually.
It's been a minute. I have that, and I don't know if I've watched my copy of it. I saw it in theaters, and then I bought it, and then I don't think I actually ever put it on.
I saw it in theaters. I got to be honest, somewhere in the middle third, which that movie is 30 minutes too long. And at the time I watched it, I was not in a place where like I was worried about falling asleep during watching stuff because I wasn't of an age and doing the type of work that was going to make me fall asleep watching movies.
Sure.
And I was on the verge of dozing for like a 20-minute stretch of the middle third.
You know, it's funny. Normally, when people complain about movies being too long, I dismiss their movie recommendations and tastes. Right? You, on the other hand, are in a certain. There's a handful of people, maybe 5, that like I have in my life that if they say it's too long, it probably is.
Is it
everybody else?
Is it the fact that I made you sit down and watch all 3 extended version Lord of the Rings in one
I
day?
think it's just that you've got your hours in watching movies, and I feel like you appreciate them the same way.
Well, considering
I do,
considering 2 of my 3 favorite movies firmly are over 3 hours long,
that's fair.
That's what I was getting at. Is like the length of a movie is not inherently an issue for me because there's a lot of people who like are inherently it's like over 2 hours. Miss me with that, and it's like no, like a movie is 2 hours long. Like in my mind. A movie's 2 hours long. Like it might be an hour 45. It might be 2.5 hours. Like, but a movie's 2 hours.
Yeah,
that's how I
my time. Yeah,
view it.
I agree.
I think there should be more movies that are actually okay with pushing 3 hours. Like there's like a conscious effort to pull movies like below that because they're afraid of like collective attention span. I'm like, no, if you have the script,
if it's good.
If you have the script to do it,
if it warrants it,
if you have the content and you're going to leave stuff on the cutting room floor that would like greatly enhance the viewing experience to me, if it's well written and it's well paced, I don't care how long it is.
That's fair. Yeah. And I agree. And that's why I respect your opinion on length being an issue for you. That being said, I don't remember ever feeling
nothing happens for the middle 45 minutes of that movie.
I don't know what
nothing
it was.
happens.
I was captivated by that movie, and I don't really know why. Then
I have
to rewatch it.
I had the initial like shiny new thing phase of the beginning of that movie, where it's like, oh wow, we're building this world. This is a time period that I'm not like super familiar with, like the nitty gritty detail of. We're going to introduce all these characters, great, and the end is like it's intense, right? Yeah. Like it's like But in the middle, like there are a couple of good things. Brad Pitt going to the ranch, that's a really good sequence.
Yep.
And like some of the stuff on set is pretty damn good. Like Leo going and shooting the episode of the Western. The whole thing with Kurt Russell's character and Kurt Russell and Brad Pitt's character and Bruce Lee, that stuff was interesting. Mm-hmm. There are huge swaths in between all of that like is now jumbled in my mind because I've only actually sat down and watched the whole movie one time. I watched bits of it a whole bunch of times. Like there's so much in there that just doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with anything.
I'll have to rewatch it and see. I just remember being very engaged, but I don't even know how we got down this long movie path. Paul Thomas Anderson. Was that how we got there?
Yes. I was going to joke and say anime, but yeah, no, it was one battle after another. Paul Thomas
right. Okay, cool. So the reviews are recap. The reviews are seem to be positive in a very positive way.
Like extremely positive.
So
And
that's good.
like one of the things I saw was interesting because like this is not like something I'm up on. I've never been like a huge Rotten Tomatoes like person
Sure.
at all, but like yeah, still kind of like note when like things show up on there in a big time good or bad way. Or the thing that I'm less up on is like Metacritic, and I always think of more Metacritic.
Yeah.
I think of it more from a video game standpoint, but I know they do movies and stuff as well. And I saw someone make a note earlier today where it's like typically like movies trail more there versus other sites versus video games where like they kind of rate higher there. And this is like extremely high on Metacritic too, which is like noteworthy because of how often it tends to like kind of like quash like reviewing a little bit. So
yeah, I've always had a like a problem with movie reviews in general, just because like I feel like there's like the cinephile movie reviews, which I generally don't agree with, and then there's the public like perception, which like is so like opposite ends of the spectrum, because it's just like you don't really know what your review, like I feel like people, it's a lot of it is like going in with expectations, and some people just aren't that into movies, and like it's just like it ends up being like this like weird thing.
That's why like Rotten Tomatoes is tough for me, because like they tried to say, hey, listen, there's the critic reviews and there's the audience reviews, and like if you were just for I want the popcorn aspect of it, I can look at the audience reviews and like that's for me. And if it's like I want like the artistic like, but they're two siloed things that exist next to each other, right? Like, and I do feel like to an extent you and I, we straddle that world, right?
Yeah,
like where
definitely
give and take with like a particular movie, like sometimes we're more towards the more artistic side, and quite often we're more towards the public side. But yeah, I agree that I feel like I'm between two worlds with that, and I think you're probably similar, right?
Yeah, totally. Like I think that like, you know, there's I love a good like popcorn flick. I like it, the movie doesn't necessarily, I'm not going in to like, I feel like sometimes there's a contingent of people that go in looking to pick the thing apart and give it a bad review. Like they you like actively search for like the negative and then focus on that shit. That's not me.
We've talked about that a bunch in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and then there's like then there's the contingent of people that are like, no, too long, like, but like not in the way that you said it. Like they're just like, I'm not, and like no, like you're missing the point.
Oh, that movie is 2.5 hours. No, thank you. And it's like,
yeah,
I mean, like, what, is it good though?
Exactly, and like I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon of like the cinephile reviewers that are like, oh, this like the Phantom Threat, like just praising the shit out of it. Like, look, I understand artistically certain things that were done. I personally do not think it's good. I don't like it. It's not, and I would never recommend it to anybody. Like it's just not it. It's just not it. And it might have some pieces that are impressive on their own, but that's not what a movie is. A movie's the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think especially in doing a show like ours where we're trying to balance those things. We want to value a certain level of artistic merit, but we also very readily want to be responsive to the fact of did we enjoy this? Like,
that's the
was
thing.
This entertaining? Like,
yep.
we want we want to have our cake and eat it too with that, right? Like, we want to appreciate the art and also understand refer to engage with the fact that like, was this a movie like I actually enjoyed? Like that was part of what I thought made our Phantom Thread episode interesting, whereas like it infuriated you so much because you felt like it was so out of whack towards the artistic versus the entertainment. And I totally understood where you were coming from, and I largely agreed with you. It didn't offend me in the same way it did you, but like I totally got where you were coming from. But I also thought it was important to point out like there was some like important things in that movie to point out of like, this is filmmaking, right? Like this is not a flick, this is a film.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that we should highlight that are commendable in this film, even if I didn't particularly walk away being like, fuck yeah, I love that movie. You know, like I do think it's important to have both parts of that conversation. And like there's some movies we're going to do where it's going to skew way more towards one or the other, and that's fine. And I love that for our show that we can do all three of those things, right? We can do
Totally.
this was fun, or we can do this was art, or we can do where did this hit both of those things, and all points in between on that spectrum.
What was that other movie that just I hated?
The Netflix one that we both hated, the black and white one that Alfonso Cuarón made.
Roma. No, that's not even what I was thinking.
Because that's the
yes.
Because Roma for me is what Phantom Thread was for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I was angry. I was angry watching that movie.
Jesse Plemons, Anthrax,
Power of the Dog,
Whips. Thank you. That was another one. I just hated it.
So that one actually even more than Phantom Thread. I actually I felt some things to appreciate in that movie, but I also was pretty frustrated with a lot of that.
Well, I think I could find more things maybe to pull out from that movie.
We also got more performances in that movie where Phantom Thread was literally just basically those two actors. You got his sister for a couple of scenes that mattered, right. Versus we got there's 4 characters that have a substantial amount of work to do in The Power of the Dog. Yeah. It's all actors and actresses that we liked.
Yeah, so God though.
Sure, but I just felt there's more to sink our teeth into in that movie.
Yeah, that's fair. Anthrax Whip. Anyway, I don't even know how we got down this road.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
I think Paul Thomas Anderson. Are we done with news? Is it time for consumption? I think we're done with.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to talk about more with Emmys since neither of us watched it. Right?
Yeah, maybe we'll have a recap next week. I actually might. This might sound silly. I'm
not. I wouldn't be surprised at all. The fact that you didn't watch it Sunday is not surprising to me. The fact that you didn't watch it at all between Sunday and now, that surprised me a little bit.
Let's dive into consumption then, because that this will explain why I didn't watch it. So first off, this is the downside of
kids.
No. This is the downside of zero. I don't see ads for live television at all. I just didn't know it was coming.
It's useful to still have at least a toe in what is happening on a day-to-day basis.
And sometimes I'm good at that, but I'll pull from I'll look at what's happening I'll check in every day or so. And then, stuff will happen, and then I don't want to engage with current events.
No, that's fine. I don't even mean I mean all of it, the good, bad, and in between. Just what's going on, and a very surface level view. And the weird thing is, I get that despite I don't watch the news. I'm generally aware of what's happening in the world. I keep involved with the news. Little n, but I don't keep up with the news capital N.
The little n news.
Yeah,
that's a site. I would subscribe to that site. Just give me the highlights. Yeah.
Yeah, so there used to be this thing where at 6 or 7 o'clock, someone would come and sit down on the television. They'd read you the news for an hour.
Yeah.
No, but
that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Because I stay engaged to whatever extent with sports. Year round.
Yeah.
And especially at this time of year with football is mostly, not exclusively anymore, but it's mostly played on the major networks. It's played on CBS, Fox, and NBC. Mm-hmm. And then ABC, ESPN too. So let's call it the 4 major networks and their extended cable affiliates at this point, but the 4 major networks. Current events exists and are housed within those networks. So I get a decent by osmosis, I get a decent amount of what's going on during football season,
Sure.
And during the rest of the year too. I mean, if I'm sitting down to watch hockey, basketball, baseball, you still see advertisements for things that are upcoming, whether it be things on television or trailers for a new show or a new movie. The cross pollination of those advertisements. The internet is a vast and deep and wonderful place, and also the worst place that it exists. There is anything you could possibly want to find on the internet exists, but because anything you could possibly want to find exists on the internet, sometimes you have to be looking for the thing to find it.
Yeah.
There are these incredibly intricate silos that are created on the internet that if you're not looking for the thing, you have no idea what's going on over there. It's there. It's publicly available. There are people talking about it. There's millions of people talking about it, but it's over there and you're looking over here. You sit down to watch a baseball game, a hockey game, a football game, a basketball game, you're gonna see like commercials for different things as like people trying to put that out in front of your face, like in like a really conscious like way. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't love sitting down and like seeing a ton of commercials, but like I gotta be honest, versus the way like things were 15 years ago, sports have done a much better job of pacing out the way these commercials are, where it doesn't feel like I'm watching 90 seconds of football to then watch 10 minutes of commercials. Like it doesn't feel that way anymore in the way that it used to. And like some of that's it can feel a little invasive, like early on, where it was like, hey, we're putting advertisements on like the mound in the middle of the baseball game with like a superimposed thing. And it's like, on the one hand, I'm like, I don't love that exists. On the other hand, it means that there's more pitches happening and swings happening versus I'm sitting and watching 6 minutes of commercials and nothing's happening. Like the game I'm sitting down to watch isn't happening.
Yeah. So for us, what happened with this particular season, because this has happened with the Emmys multiple times. I think it's just the time it's like the first like entry into we missed it like multiple times.
Well, also to give you guys like some grace here, the Emmys isn't on the exact same weekend every year, is it?
I don't know. Doesn't it around the same time?
Around the same time, but doesn't it kind of float? Like the Oscars is like basically the only same weekend in March every year.
Oh, is it? I don't even know. I just end up looking it up.
I think so.
But we were watching a show and we were like heavily invested in it, and I got up to go to the bathroom and Kim checked her phone and she's like, "Are we missing the Emmys right now?" And like we were both annoyed because like it turned out that we were, and we went to go turn it on. There was because we didn't like flag it to. Like we couldn't go back to the beginning, so I was like, "Well, I don't feel like watching it from here, and I definitely will not be watching like the show with commercials right now." So we'll just maybe pick it back up sometime this week. But the show that we were into, that we've gotten sucked into, is Lost.
Really? After all this time?
Yeah, after all this time. And it's really funny to watch the show because I had never watched it. Maybe like an episode would be on in the background while I was working at the pizzeria or something, but like I never like fully engaged with it. I knew my cousin Marie was like super into it when it came out, so she like I would hear like bits and pieces of things, and there's so much of that show that I guess has just like gotten into my brain just from osmosis? Whether it be like people talking about it or
whatever. I never watched it, but I'm aware of a lot of the beats and the major plot points and the terms involved with it.
So I'll just be calling things left and right, and I don't know if it's because like I know some of it is definitely just because I have like I've watched enough things that I see certain things coming, and then others I'm like a thing's about to happen, and I'll say it to him. I was like, and I know that it's going to happen. And I did not figure this out. Like, I don't know why this is like, I don't know why I know this is going to, and then it does. And I'm like, nah. So there's like so many like random things about the show that I remember having never engaged with it before, which is very weird, but super invested.
There's got to be a weird, like kind of surreal aspect of watching that show, like for real for the first time at this point, after it's been such a major part of like the zeitgeist and the lexicon that existed for the last 20 years in pop culture.
Well, it's been really entertaining to watch, and I would have probably been really frustrated watching it week to week.
Really? Okay. You think the binge model is better for this?
Absolutely helping.
Because that existed firmly in the weekly.
Oh yeah. Well, firmly in we're doing 24 episodes a season, specifically, even when it doesn't warrant 24 episodes, and it's really funny to be binging the show and watching an entire episode and being like, that didn't matter at all. Like that's not. This is not something. Like we didn't need that. And I was like, that's your filler episode. And then to come to find out that like the first 3 seasons I think are 24 episodes, and then like there's like a 14 and like a 17 and a 17.
Oh really? Like, I actually didn't know that.
The tail end, they must have like, the 14 something might have been going on. I don't remember what year it came out.
I forget when that show actually debuted. Did that continue running through the writer's strike?
It may have. That's what I was thinking when I saw the 14 episode one. Let me see if I can pull that up. But I was like, just trim it. Like, you don't have to.
It
Significantly
did. So I
impacted
wonder
Lost season 4, forcing the show to shorten its season from its planned 16 episodes to 4. That's not. I don't think
no,
that's largely significant, actually.
no. If it was like, hey, it was going to be 24 episodes like usual, and then it
That's
became
significant.
14 because of the strike, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah. To me, that's probably what actually happened. Google AI.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about the fact that you were looking at something that was inherently incorrect because it's the AI.
Because it's the internet, and who God knows. So that is true, though. It straddled. It's similar to the Breaking Bad hit that like thing too, right? Where like
that
a
show might have
strike.
started right after. Didn't that
No,
start like
the third or fourth season of that show also has a big break because of a strike.
Oh, maybe there was a break, but it started in 2008. That was the year of the strike, wasn't it? It ran from 08 to
2007
2013.
to 08. Yeah. Breaking Bad writer's strike. What do we have? Was there another one? Impacted Breaking Bad, leading to a shortened first season.
The first season was short, but there was a time that was in the same era. There was a bunch of shows that weirdly had super abbreviated. Like there was some sort of compromise that was made with the networks back then, where you didn't have to do a pilot. You got to just do a first season of a show, but it was a short season. Like Parks and Rec did the same thing. The first season of Parks and Rec is like eight episodes long, and the second season's like 20 episodes long because it gets like a full series order after that. Same thing. Breaking Bad had a short first season, and then they never did the 24 episode thing. It was all like 12 or 13 episodes or something like that. But like the first season's 6 or 8 episodes, and then the whole rest of the show, or the next like 3 seasons, are all like 13 episodes, and the final season might have been longer.
Yeah.
Because they were making a compromise where it's like, we're going to give you a straight to series order. You don't have to do a pilot. You did like a proof of concept for us. We're in on it. You're going to do your first season, and if it performs well, we're going to order you to full regular series after that.
Right. But what I'm remembering, that yes, I know that phenomenon I'm familiar with. What I'm very specifically trying to remember with Breaking Bad was there is a season that has a big break in the middle of it. Like a significant time passes between the season number A and the season number B. And I know that AMC used to do that shit.
But I thought that was mostly a Walking Dead thing.
It was. I'm wondering, did they just do it for Breaking Bad 2 at that point, or
I don't remember.
Something happen?
I don't remember because I binged all of Breaking Bad right after it ended, so I don't remember how that all worked out. When I think of like kind of the hallmarks of those main shows that did the season A, season B thing, it's the final season Sopranos is what I think of for that. Which is also like a similar era, obviously, because that show was ending around the time that the show began. They may have broken it up at some point. I know Saul did it. Better Call Saul did one of those seasons was split. The final season was split. Remember they had the whole thing where Odenkirk has the heart attack and they had to suspend filming for 6 weeks or something like that, and then they got back on to finish. And then so they ended up releasing it as a split, and it wasn't intended to be a split, but they did to accommodate him getting back to full health.
Right. Yes. Okay. I remember that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still.
Which is kind of crazy that he's doing the Taken light now when he had a heart attack on set doing a show where he was required to do nothing physical. That he's done a couple of these nobody movies where he's like playing John Wick essentially, but he's a 60-something-year-old man. Yep. A 60-something-year-old man who's like 5'4".
Maybe I'm sorry. I was just looking at I think I might just be misremembering this thing with Breaking Bad, but
I'm wondering if you're conflating it with Saul, because Saul did those split seasons once, if not twice.
Breaking Bad split the final season.
The final season, I think, was.
Yeah, but
that was not strike related. That was because it was a longer season.
It was AMC trash. It was AMC just breaking it up because they wanted to build anticipation. It wasn't.
But wasn't it also
any other reason?
Wasn't it also a longer season too?
I don't know.
Like I thought it was both. I thought it was both.
It was done. It was fully done, and they broke it up into 2 just so that they could probably have ratings or some shit.
I'm trying to.
But anyway, I don't even know how we got there. Oh, TV shows, Lost, right? We're into Lost. We're like 17 episodes in, I think, and
Oh, so you guys still have a lot to do. There's like 200 episodes that season or that show,
there
right?
and it's yeah. Well, no, the first 3 seasons are 24, and then 16, 17, 17. We're almost done with the first season. We got, we'll get through it in the next week, I'm sure. But like the last episode that we watched, like around 16 or 7, I think it was called Numbers, and it was fantastic. And I was just like, oh my god, like this, it was like hit after hit after hit in that episode. I was like, this is like, if this was the pitch for the show, like this is great. Like if they can keep this going or have a couple of these a season, it's going to be tremendous, because and I know people loved it. But I'm I know I'm super late to it. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, good. I mean, it was a phenomenon at the time. I
Yeah.
mean, between the, I always think it's weird. This whole like Abrams comes up with this idea and then hands it off to someone. And I mean, him and Lindelof like collaborated together a lot on that show. And then Lindelof went on to continue to make some of the other like best television of the teens. I mean, between The Leftovers and Watchmen, I mean, those are both incredible HBO shows. Incredible shows. So
Yeah. But so we were like, oh, we want another like kind of meaty series to dig into, so that we could just, because once the kids go to bed and we're just like completely toast, it's like, let's just turn the brain off and watch like 3 or 4 episodes of television in a row. It's great. It is.
It's funny because I wouldn't have. I know it doesn't have like a Sorkin-esque levels of plotting and dialogue, but like I didn't think of Lost as like a turn your brain off show.
Well, that's the extent of me turn. I'm super engaged watching anything, but like even that is my brain on a lower gear. Like
well, sure, you're no longer thinking about being a parent or being like a highly engaged professional working a serious job, but like when you say
it's more it's more turn your body off.
That's fine.
Maybe that's what it.
Although for me, if I do that, I'll fall asleep on something. No. But like,
I just like sink into the couch and just like laser focus on it. But it's been great.
10% of the reason I'm overweight is that like sometimes I need to eat something to stay awake. Whether it be driving my car for work or for a long trip or for like, I got to be honest. Even the other night, I was like, been trying to dial my diet in a little bit more seriously because like I don't necessarily need to do like a dramatic weight loss thing, but like just would like to be a little bit like healthier. So like been trying to be serious about that. Just tighten
it up.
You can't tell myself to lose weight. It's illegal, but tighten.
Tighten.
I was watching the football game on Monday night, and they did a doubleheader, an East Coast West Coast thing, and me and Donnie and my dad were watching the games, and we're watching the West Coast game, which started at 10 o'clock because it's a West Coast game. It was like, I want to watch the first half. I'm not going to stay up and watch this whole game. I can stay up, I'll be going to bed a little later than I should, but whatever. And I'm like, the first quarter is coming close to end, and I'm standing up at the kitchen table and almost falling asleep. And I was like, okay, I need to get myself like a bowl of chips to just very slowly chew on something to keep myself awake. So I don't like crack my skull or dislocate my knee because I've fallen asleep standing up.
Oh man. We back to Lost. Like we went into that because we were looking for like that next like longer show, because earlier this year we had finished West Wing, which we talked about.
It's a longer show as well.
That was really long and really just wonderful to watch. That was great. And then we watched Ginny and Georgia, which was like 3 seasons. That was really fun. Not too long, but that was really fun. Ginny and Georgia on Netflix.
No, not familiar.
No, it's great. It was great. Can't wait for the next season. It's just so fun. And then we were like, after that was over, like we need another show, and we watched Stranger Things again in preparation for the finale season coming up in November. And man, does that show hold? Like, it's just as good the second time around, and so much so that we're like, there were multiple times where like we were so like locked in / like on the edge of our seat, and like that I would like have to like break out of it and be like, I know what happens. Like, why am I like this right now? Like, why am I so stressed out? I know exactly, like, the person I'm worried about is fine. Like, but it's that good. Like, it's just so, that show really just lands for me. I just love it so much. We talked about this in person during the concert, but like it's it's not weaponized nostalgia. It is done really well. It is all of the time, like all of the time period works really well with the storyline, like intentionally so. And like there is such incredible attention to detail of the time in that show that like makes me feel warm and fuzzy in a great way, because like it's something as little as opening a junk drawer and like three things stand out to me of like, oh my god, those three things were in my junk drawer. Like that's just it's incredible. I was like, I had that ruler, I had that phone, I had that stapler, I had that tape. Like it's just like it's just a whole thing. It's just so great.
Speaking of harkening back, this is like a total
Baron
almost wow.
Sorry, I do this to you every time.
Harkening back to a specific time in your life specifically, we're talking about yesterday, and I'm not going to bore anyone with the preamble as to how the conversation came up, but I'm just going to mention the thing. We were talking about your old house.
Hell yeah. 22 Hewitt Avenue, Staten Island, New York.
If you say so. But yeah, the house that you lived in before you guys bought Mama and Pop-Pop's house, like, we were talking about that house and like the relatively unconventional structure of that house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a I don't even know what the hell you call it. It was a half house.
Is there a name that exists?
I don't know. There's a lot of this going on Staten Island. It's like one big house, but there's a dividing wall in the middle of it, and there's an entrance on the left side and the right side, and they're technically two houses, like address and property wise.
Oh, was it? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like it's connected. It was very vertical. It was like the Weasleys.
Well, that was the thing that we were talking about. So like Gianna and Mike have very casually started looking at houses because they're gonna get married in the next year. They're gonna. I don't know that they'll necessarily buy a place before they get married, but like they've already begun the groundwork of looking at different areas. They have the time to do that now. You know. So yeah, paying for a wedding and a house at the same time is tough, but you know those things have to happen in a matter of course as they're going around that, right? Like so, considering they don't live together already. But she was mentioning a house that they were looking at, and she was like, "I like this house, and it's like in an area we like, price we like, but there's a bedroom on every floor." And my mom brought up your old house. And I was like, oh, yeah. And it made me really think about it. I was like, that was like a really unconventional structure of house. And it was like the whole bedroom on every house. I was like, that's like the Weasley house in the movies, where it's like there's this scene where she yells up to them and you see every kid on a different floor yelling down to the.
It makes it sound like we lived in a mansion, but on the contrary, it was
very skinny and tall.
And very tall. Yeah. So you walked in, like to get into the house, you walked up like 6 cement steps. And then there was a front door, and you go in the front door, and then in front of you is like a landing, and to the left was a living room, and then there's stairs going down into a basement, or a den, like a family room type of area. Another staircase that went down into the basement, which was like fully under the ground instead of like half under the ground. If you go back up those stairs, there was another staircase up that went into the dining room kitchen, which was one room, and then another staircase that went up to like a landing with a bathroom and my parents' bedroom, and then another staircase that went up to the top floor where my room and my sister's room were. And my room was like a glorified closet. It was when I was a kid, the size was fine, but I saw it. We have friends that live in our old neighbors, and I had seen that house, like their house, when I was older, and I had not realized just how small that room was.
Once you're a teenager, you realize you were living like Harry Potter.
That's that's what I realized. That's when it all clicked. That is true. I didn't get to the burrow in the books until well after we had lived in Mom and Pop-Pop's house, which at that point I don't think I ever really made the connection then. But like thinking about it now, I have explained the layout of that house as the burrow before, like as an adult.
Yeah, it's funny because I had forgotten about it. The other thing I think of is in Hocus Pocus, the house they live in, where like he lives at the top of that like tower. There's like that tower at the top of the like where he's like goes up multiple staircases, like not it's not a spiral staircase, but like that's like the same effect of like kind of going up and around. And like it's like a lot of wasted space up there. Like it's a little different than like your guys' house where like that's functional
staircase.
Space,
that more reminds me of where you lived. At our grandparents' house in Brooklyn when you were a wee lad.
Which I have no memory of that. So
you have no memory of this, but like you would go up.
I was under 2 years old.
the main floor / full house was where our grandparents lived. Then there was a basement where Uncle John lived, and then if you went up the stairs, there was like a split into another like fully livable space that like you go up the stairs and like it's split into 2 doors. It was very weird. And then I think you went up one more time, and that is where Nana lived. Yeah. For those of you at home that are trying to decipher the different people that I've mentioned so far, my mom and Pop-Pop are my grandfather and my grandmother and grandfather on my mom's side, and Nana is my great grandmother, who I actually got to meet my great grandmother, which is kind of cool.
There's pictures of me with her as like a toddler. I have no memory of her. No. So
I've got memories of the smell of mothballs and hard candies on the counter.
Okay. Baking? Mm-hmm. Do you remember smells of baking?
Baking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
I mean, I know my mom talked about baking a ton.
I remember going all the way up there and my mom having like tea with her, and she had one of those like weird half. Oh my god! It's like the door under the stairs that Harry lived in. Like she had like a cabinet, like a like a closet like that with a broom, but like a little broom closet. And I remember that weird random things that like.
It's funny you mentioned the thing about like the basement and Uncle John, because I have heard about that. That would have been between his marriages, right? That he lived down there, like between his first and second marriage. Yep. I don't know exactly where in the timeline that fit. I guess I don't really like. He must have lived there. I guess did he live there when I was a baby? Like that's.
I guess
I never like made that connection, but I think you're probably right. That would have been like the same time. Because when my mom talks about that, she talks about like the 3 levels, like her parents, us, and then her grandmother. Our Nana. Like. That's what I think of that. I don't think about that, but I have heard before about Uncle John living there as well. Yeah. I don't think I ever connected that meant there was like technically like a 4-level situation.
A basement. He lived in the basement.
But it's like basically 4 distinct units essentially, right?
Well, I think it was just like a basement.
It probably was just a basement, but like basically
there wasn't like a.
They treated it as like 4 apartments essentially, right? Like,
yeah, I guess, but there wasn't like I don't think it was like a fully livable space, and like no bathroom or like kitchen or anything down there. Like he used that stuff on.
But the other ones upstairs though.
The other ones did, yes.
Yeah, I was saying like they were.
I remember correctly.
They were. It was a 3-family house. Like,
yeah,
right, like or 3 family.
Yeah, at least I know. I remember very specifically. Nana's had the kitchen and all that stuff. I assume the middle level also did, because that's how I remember it.
I'm pretty sure it did, based on the way that they've talked about it. Like it was its own fully functional unit.
Our family was all about the burrows.
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't thought about Hewitt Avenue in a long time. So Gianna found a house like that.
Yeah, there was one that she was looking at that was kind of similar to that, because me and my mom started talking about your guys' old house.
Got it.
I don't think that's the house they're going to buy, but like they were talking about it. So
I don't even remember how we got there.
Shit, how did we get there?
I don't know. Back to continuing on consumption. I'm going to throw 2 more things out there before I hand it off to you. Okay. First is we were scrolling through movies I wanted to watch a movie one night. We were scrolling through the streaming services, and we came across Sex Drive. Have you ever seen Sex Drive?
I I have
So Sex Drive,
Dominic really likes that movie.
it's a very funny movie.
I've seen it. It's a funny movie. That's definitely over 15 years old.
That's a 2008 jam.
So fun fact about that movie. I don't know if did you look into anything about how that movie was made?
No.
So I had seen the movie once or twice. Was watching it. We just put it on. It was like a random night. Like it was just like
Yeah.
we were like looking for something to watch, and it was just on TV. You know, we were watching it, whatever. And at the end, when they start like flashing like the credits,
Mm.
I had a revelation, and this will mean almost nothing to you. The guy who has been like the lead fantasy football like writer for Yahoo for like 20 something years wrote that movie.
Huh.
It's the only thing he's ever written. He just
Interesting.
had an idea, always wanted to write a movie. He wrote
That's
that
so
movie.
funny.
His full-time
I
job
love
was
that.
he was the lead fantasy football guy for like 20 years at Yahoo. Actually, I think he just I'm not gonna say got like laid off because that's probably not accurate, but like he's been the Yahoo guy for like 20 years, and this is the first year he's not going to be the Yahoo guy.
Oh my
And
god.
like I remember, I was like, hang on a second. It was like that can't like that's such a unique name that it has to be him, but it also can't be him. And I looked it up and was like, oh my god, it's him. He was just like, hey, I had this one idea. I always wanted to
I
make
love
a
that.
movie about this idea. And he got a movie made about his idea. And sure, it's like kind of like a B movie or whatever, but like
Yeah.
it's like a real legitimate
Well,
movie that like people have
it's-
watched and enjoyed, and he got to make that movie, and it's so fucking
It's
random.
it's very entertaining. It's very of the time. Like that is a style of comedy.
Oh, it's an
and comedy
extremely
movie.
2005 to 2010 movie.
Oh
Like,
my
it's
goodness!
fully within that.
Like
wheelhouse.
it's like in that Euro trip. Like it's in that range. I love it. I just it is. Some of it obviously doesn't hold up.
no,
But then it turns maybe they're also like doing things that seem ridiculous that are maybe a little tongue in cheek, which is great. My favorite part about that movie is sarcastic Amish Seth Green.
Seth Green.
Oh my goodness! What do you miss when he talks about his Rumspringa and he goes the like co-lead Lance he's like, what do you miss most about it? And he goes, the sarcasm. I miss sarcasm. And then he's just like extremely sarcastic to them the rest of the movie, and he comes across as such a dick, and you're like, but is he being a dick?
Well, he got to have his cake and eat it too, right? Because he could be
Yeah.
super sarcastic and be a total dick, but also knowing that he's gonna like do the right thing. Where he's like,
Yep.
he's like, oh yeah, no, we just have all the time in the world. We can just work on this for free. Like this, like no need to pay us. Why would you? Why would you?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. So there's that. And the other thing that I've been consuming lately is like within the last week, I've had like 3 different hour-long sessions sitting down with Elden Ring again.
Oh, okay.
Which I still find the game to be so fascinating.
Did you ever play the Erd Tree expansion? I forget.
I didn't. I never played through the original part of the game. So
I remember you getting really bogged down in like a particular castle in some sort of undead knight situation.
Oh, yeah. So that's where I picked it back up.
Oh, is that the last time you played? Because we talked about that like literally a year ago.
I know. When I picked it back up, I got reacquainted with the controls and I kicked that guy's ass. And then I just made my way through the rest of that castle, which was just so much fun. There's just like so many secrets and like crazy enemies, and like aside from the main boss at the end of it, there was like another like hidden like mini boss that was like even harder than the main boss. Like there was like some cool stuff and like fun loot, and afterwards I ended up like leveling my stuff up like quite a bit, which I have to get better about like doing that along the way. I tend to like, oh, let me finish this section and then like see what I've got and go through things. It would have been a lot easier to do things if I had just like stopped along the way to improve myself. But yeah, I'm back into it. I haven't the lore is so deep and weird and the design is so bizarre, but for some reason it's just scratches an itch, and I can't get enough of it right now. I just want to play more of it, and I don't know that I'll actually finish it. You never know. I might trail off, but the world is I'm just so curious about everything in the game, and I just want to keep playing it, even if it's like really weird shit. Like all these characters, it's so weird. I walked into this room. There's like the fingers. It was like this. It's like a portion of a hand. It's a giant portion of a hand with two fingers, and it's sitting on a throne, and the hand has hair, and I have no idea
The
how
hand
these
itself
things.
is sitting on a throne.
Yep, and I just don't even know what kind of mind thinks these things up / then turns them into art / then gets them into a game. It's very weird, and I'm here for it, and I've been having a good time with my samurai.
Well, that's
samurai
good.
build.
I'm trying to look for. So I know I was texting with Brian, not Spin Brian, other Brian.
Brian.
There was some. Oh, maybe we weren't texting. Maybe we were talking about it in person because I saw him a couple weeks ago. There was a game that me and him were talking about, and I don't remember what it was now. But I was thinking about it, I was like, oh man, it's actually been like a year since I've actually got a new game. And I've been going through this thing where like every other year, like I'll play like 3 or 4 new games, and then like I'll play one new game. And I've been in like that year where like I haven't had anything new since Veilguard last year. And we were talking about how he was mentioning a couple other games because he was excited for Outer Worlds 2 because he loved the first one, and there's like the second one's coming out soonish, I want to say.
Yeah,
and that was, I didn't play the first one. I'm like not looking to play the second one, but I was like, oh, like I'm in like this window now where like I'm really looking forward to a bunch of stuff that's not out yet. But there was one that we were talking about, and I don't remember what it was now. That was more imminent, but like you and I have obviously talked, and I have like months of stuff to catch up on with Exodus. I want to, like, they've been releasing a ton of stuff about that game, and I just have not checked out any of it, and I need to go back and look through that. I know you and me have talked about it. I'm super excited for the Expanse game. Osiris Reborn, I think. Super excited for that. I think that's supposed to come out sometime next year. Obviously, down the line, we're talking about a Mass Effect at some point, but there's and then GTA 6. That's still like a year away or whatever. But there's one other. I think there's one other thing that's supposed to be coming out in that timeline. Where it's like, oh, I actually have like a stack of things I'm excited for, but like it's all going to be in the next 12 to 18 months, you know. And I'm like, man, I'm like holding out for it. But there's one other one that I'm looking forward to, and I haven't played anything new in like a year, and I need something. I need something to start scratching that itch.
Yeah. Well, if you want to get involved in this game,
there's almost no chance.
Stories.
There's almost no chance I get into Elden Ring after all this time.
Why not? I've been trying to get Brian to get it too, and he feels the same way.
Also, at some point, we're gonna have to get some sort of update on the next Jedi game. They've been working on it for a couple of years.
When I ended up picking up Elden Ring, I almost started Survivor again.
It's funny because I played through Fallen Order, I think like 3 or 4 times. I only played Survivor the first time when it came out. And I keep, like, every 6 months, I'm like, I'd really like to go back and play that again. And I still haven't done it yet. And one of these days, I'm finally going to break that seal and do it. And, like, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. I guess I could play that on Grandmaster. Why not?
That game was actually a lot harder than the first one.
Yeah. It's funny, the Fallen Order was the first, I think it's like the first game that like I I guess with the exception of the Halo games, where like I was like into playing it on like the higher difficulties and stuff like that. Normally, like I play a game once and I'm like, kind of done, and usually like through normal. But yeah, that I find that the Jedi Master, is that the one just below Grandmaster?
Yes.
I find that to be the most enjoyable way to play the game.
At this point, yeah. I mean, I was glad that the first time when Fallen Order came out that I played through it a few times in a row, and I went all the way through and I did it on Grandmaster. But I didn't even like attempt to do Grandmaster on Survivor. And, like, I don't see myself doing it because I just don't see the point. I think Jedi Master is the best
Yeah.
version of it. Where
I played
you test
Survivor
yourself,
on Jedi
but
Master.
like it's not totally brutal.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny. I found that the timing of attacks and blocks and stuff on the slightly higher difficulty to feel more natural to me.
Yeah, because I know when Fallen Order came out, I started on like the whatever the second, it was like Jedi Knight. I guess like I didn't play on Padawan. I think I played on Jedi Knight, and I struggled with it because it was the first time I actually played like that Soulsborne style of game.
Yep.
Like this was the first time I played in earnest. I've played it with someone else like once or twice on like those other games. So I was like, wow, this is difficult. So I think I played it like 3 times in a row right when Fallen Order came out. Like I played on Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, and Grandmaster. And I remember, I think by the time I was playing Grandmaster, Dominic had been playing on Jedi Knight, and there was a section he was struggling with. And I went back to play that, and I was trying to help like him get past like a particular boss or mini boss or whatever. And I was actually struggling going back to the looser.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I was blocking stuff, but I wasn't getting like the good blocks.
Sure.
Because I was hitting it on the time I was expecting, like with the fast reaction. And I was like, oh, this is actually too loose. This is too slow.
Yeah. Totally. That's funny. But yeah, that's it for my consumption for now.
I'm gonna run
There's
through
other things, but I just we're running late, so
I'm gonna run through this real quick because I have this backlog of stuff. There's only one thing I'm gonna talk about like in a substantial way. So I watched a bunch of stuff on the plane there and back from Ireland. I finally got around to watching Belfast, which I did not go to Northern Ireland. I just went to regular Ireland.
Regular.
But I saw it on there and I was like, oh, that kind of sort of fits. And I never got around to it when it was nominated that year. And I had wanted to see it. And it was a good movie. I'm glad I finally got around to it.
Yeah, that was a strong film.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. I watched a movie that was on the list, the infamous list we talked about earlier. It's a movie I wanted to watch for some time, not since it very first came out, but I watched the movie Moon. I believe I texted you about that. That's
that sounds familiar.
Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell, he's on the moon, and
yep,
he works for this corporation, and he's doing moon stuff. I know that it was supposed to be kind of a psychological thing, but I didn't know about like what it was actually about, and it was not what I expected it to be about. I was pleasantly surprised by that. It was weird. It was in a good way. It's funny. It's basically the whole movie is just Sam Rockwell and Kevin Spacey's voice. Which this movie came out in 2009, so we can appreciate Kevin Spacey's voice at that time. But
does he dance? Does Rockwell do any dancing in this movie? He's always dancing.
I don't remember. Does he dance? I don't want to talk too much about it.
He's a good dancer.
You never saw this movie?
No.
Because I don't want to say too much about it then.
Yeah.
But surprise of all surprise cameos, Matt Berry was
treat.
I didn't even realize. I saw his name listed and I was like, oh really? This is well before What We Do in the Shadows came out. This would have been like when he was still doing like Toast of London and all and whatever other, there's another show he did in like the UK. And like I was like, oh, where is he going to be? I didn't even realize it was him because the audio on the plane with my like wired earphones was really bad. So he's like on video screens, like having a conversation a couple times from Earth. And I think it was the second time I was like, oh shit, he's one of the guys. Like that's Matt Berry right there. Cause you could barely tell it's him. Cause he's like on like a grainy video camera and he's sitting at like the end of like a boardroom table. So like it's entirely his voice. Like you can't even basically make out his face. But that was a pleasant surprise. Super weird movie. I was glad I finally got around to watching that. I watched the not counting Fantastic Four, the 2 most recent MCU movies that have made it to the streamers.
Thunderbolts and Captain America?
Yes, I watched Brave New World and Thunderbolts.
How was Brave New World? I
watched them in the wrong order, actually. But Brave New World was a movie.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It honestly, it's not as bad as the criticism of it is. It's not good, But like, there's moments about it that are cool. There's some ideas, but it's not a great movie.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know how I would pitch trying to fix it. Well, for one, one of the ways I would pitch trying to fix it is don't spoil the major plot point that happens in the final act in the trailers. Like, don't do that, because that movie would have been more interesting if I had no idea that's where it was going at the end.
Sure.
For sure. But like, there were some ideas. There was some cool stuff that paid off, the things that were going around. But like, it's not a good movie though. It's definitely not.
Yeah, I have to watch it though. Like, I've seen every MCU movie, so like, or I normally do. I have to see that, and Fantastic Four are currently.
Well, now that I knocked those two out, I think I've seen every movie except for the Marvels. I think that's the only one I haven't seen now. And Fantastic Four.
And Fantastic Four. What about the show? Did you watch all the shows?
I have not watched all the shows, but I just for as far as movies.
I think
the last show I watched was, well, excluding Daredevil, which I almost view as separate from all of the other shows in its own way. But with the exception of that, I think the last thing I watched was first season of Loki. So,
okay, I like Loki.
Yeah, that's another thing. I very much would have liked to have gotten around to the second season. I just hadn't. So one of these years I might get to it. But Thunderbolts I liked. That was a good movie.
Very entertaining movie.
That was a good movie. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
we can do that for the show if you want. I won't go into it too deep, but
yeah, I'll rewatch it
if you want to knock that out. We could do that. And then the last one that I'm going to mention here was a movie I really liked. And if you would like to see it, I would actually even maybe rewatch this to do it for the show, because it's now been like almost 6 weeks since I saw it. Movie that came out early this year, Black Bag, with Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. It's a good movie.
Bag.
It's a good movie. The trailer came out. I was like, oh, that looks cool or whatever, but I didn't really pay it much mind. And I was just looking for stuff to watch on the plane, and I saw it was on there. I was like, you know what? Seems like it'd be right down my alley. Let me watch it. And it was right down my alley. And I watched it and I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. Oh,
this looks great.
Yeah, no, it's a good time.
Okay. Yeah. I'd be down to check this one out.
It's a good, solid, enjoyable movie. I wasn't sure at the very beginning. It looked like it could have possibly been like a period piece thing, because it's like, it opens up and it's like very, like, this is people in a kind of a timeless time and place of London. And I was like, is this like a Cold War thing? And then eventually you realize, like, this is present day. Like, they're using very present day, like, technology stuff. But like, very early on, I actually was not sure when this was exactly supposed to take place. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I like Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. They're great. It's a Soderbergh, Steven Soderbergh movie, which my mileage with him somewhat varies, but I don't love him. I don't hate him, but I feel like he consistently makes movies and I'm like, that was pretty good. But I enjoyed this. I mean, I love that pop oiler type of like spy noir type of movie.
I mean, it's great.
This is a fun, interesting little flick.
Sounds good to me. I'm down. Awesome. Some good consumptions. Well, with that, why don't we get into our flick of the week? Superman, released in 2025, rated PG-13 with a 2-hour and 9-minute runtime. Your IMDb synopsis. Superman must reconcile his alien Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as reporter Clark Kent. As the embodiment of truth, justice, and the human way, he soon finds himself in a world that views these as old-fashioned.
Yeah, sure.
It's like we're doing a Superman now. That's all. That's all that's coming through there. I think it's better than that.
Yeah.
But why don't you hit us with your Toot-length review? Toot-length.
Not quite as campy as the Reeves movies, and not half as brooding as the Snyderverse, this movie largely strikes a strong balance of tone, Easter egg, plot, and character. So, business as usual for James Gunn. 7.5 out of 10.
Yes. James Gunn's Superman strikes the right balance of being unmistakably his style without being overwhelming. Corny but strong performances honor the campy origins with caring while carving out fresh territory. I can't even read the things that I wrote. I read you the synopsis that I didn't even look at before. Totally fine, and I can't read my own thing. With carving out fresh territory, a solid jumping off point for the Gunniverse. 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I had a really fun time watching this movie.
It's a fun movie. It's not like
It's
world breakingly great, but it's a good movie. This is a thing that I continue to harp on in a lot of ways, especially in like I would say my personal life, in the sense of like discussing and engaging with like different like things. We are humans who are capable of higher levels of thought and nuance. And we've been bogged down in a race to quantify everything into a binary. Good and bad, this and that.
Yep.
The thing is, everything is not great or terrible. It's just not. There's a whole spectrum of outcomes. There's great, there's terrible. There's good, there's that wasn't so great. And that was perfectly fine. Like I think we're trained in the sense of the way we like think about things academically, where we're on the scale of 70 to 100, where, you know, when you're talking about academically, you fail if you're below 70 or 65, whatever your particular thing is, whatever, like that. Yeah. So everything gets squashed into this like polarized edge of the scale, right? Where like there's good and bad. And like when you're talking about something that should hopefully be pulling the whole range of the spectrum, 7 out of 10 or 7.5 out of 10 is closer to great than it is to bad, right? Yeah. Like it's okay. Yeah. Our scale, like we talked about the Thuckle scale with the beers and how we tend to always be on the positive side. And I think that's okay because there's a self-selecting aspect to that, which we've discussed. Sure. It's okay to say a movie is a 7 or 7.5. That's still firmly on this end of the spectrum. Good movie. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's certainly not a bad movie.
It's enjoyable. It's got a lot going for it. Rewatchability is there. I'm excited for this to drop and to put it on again. I do think that it was comforting to see what he can do with the DC universe and open this door, get a feel for where things may go, make it feel more campy than the MCU, and yet still have like strong characters that are like grounded even with the surrounding campiness, which I actually you can totally get that wrong, and whatever balance that he struck here, like it really did work. It worked for me. Like even throwing around the gollies and stuff, I thought that was hysterical. Like that was like I was laughing a lot, and I was also like invested in what was going on.
I do wonder if the reality of Superman as not being an ancillary character but the main focus, if a level of camp is required because of how surreal he is,
I could see that.
Like if you need the pressure release valve to be, we know this is ridiculous, so we're going to do some ridiculous things so you don't feel totally like, well, what's the point of all this? You know?
Yeah, like just because he's so OP. And if you think about like,
because I think the Reeves ones, well, like a lot of people enjoy those movies, and I'm not saying that they're not good or I haven't enjoyed them as well. Although it's been a long time since I've actually watched them, and there's certainly an aspect of it's just of that time where like they didn't have CGI or like actual special effects. There's only so much they could do with like a lot of that. Where I mean, you're looking at some of the costumes and some of what goes on in there, and like some of the stuff. It's like it's just too much. Like it's just too much.
Yeah.
But if they didn't have someone with the right idea of like guys, this is fucking absurd. So if you don't let us wink at the camera once or twice,
Yeah,
we're gonna totally get lost up our own asshole on this, or it's gonna become totally milquetoast and pointless.
totally. But I get that, and I do think like because it is he's a completely OP superhero,
And it's hard
and
to make stakes, and they actually did a good job of nailing of like creating a certain level of stakes. And like, there's probably
they
only so
did.
many stories you can tell that aren't like full blown like Justice League level like stuff where you start getting out into the cosmos more. Like,
Yeah,
like
but I
to create a story
okay,
that's compelling that features Lex Luthor, which is
yeah,
a quote unquote grounded in the listen, they're still fucking flying around and having superpowers, but like grounded in the sense
sure.
of like this is an Earth based story, or even like specifically a
But
Metropolis
there's like
based story.
there's a lot to it though, because like there's at some point they made a decision when they were writing the scripts for this and like and working through the movie like that we're not going to do origin. It's been done to death.
Which is the
Appreciate
right.
you.
We've talked about that in the past, and I think they did a good job of striking the balance of this does feel like an origin story because he's a very young, like young as a character and young in his power, like in his fully formed power. But we still
Sure.
didn't go through all of the tired beats of origin
Right.
story. Like this is the
Which
right way
allowed
to do this.
I agree, and which like that allowed. That's what I feel like that ultimately opened the door for them, though, right? Because then you were able to like lay this kind of plot work of like I don't know Lex's social engineering, and then what's the thing that could defeat Superman? Turn the people against him,
Mm.
like that, great. Just I mean I don't I'm not familiar with the Superman comics. Maybe that has been done to death. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen it yet. Like I haven't like actually seen this myself, like to this degree. Like, I mean, I know like they like it's been like it's they kind of go that route a lot, but like it was just done so well in a modern era, like with the backdrop of things that are actually happening in society that I thought what an incredible balance and like to do that in a silly superhero movie and for it to land and feel like they did it in an intelligent way.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was here for it.
creating the inciting incident of this being like this international crisis, and like I think it's smart to pick. They created places that don't exist that you can squint and imagine the types of places they're talking about. But at the end of the day, it's not you're not carrying the baggage of real life world politics with like the still idea of like we're tackling the tropes of things we've seen a bunch of different times.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a wise way to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's also the DC universe is that it's not like it's America, but it's not real cities. There's like
It's always
they resemble real cities, but they're not them. Like
it's always been weird how like the MCU fully embraces that these are like or like just Marvel in general, right? Like embraces like this is like quote unquote real places, right? Like so many of the stories take place in Manhattan,
Yep. Yeah.
Or whatever, and then like the DC like stuff does these things that like you're only 1 degree of separation from those real life places.
Totally.
They're both used for like real and imagined types of like social and like societal political commentary sort of stuff. Like, I mean, I would say DC tries to tackle like the regional type of stuff in a way that maybe like Marvel doesn't. But then like Marvel tackles some of the societal stuff. I mean, like if you just look back at like the earliest origins of all of the mutant storylines, all the X-Men stuff, like how that fits and it's grafted very obviously onto some of our societal stuff that has nothing to do with the actual geography, but more to do with the type of debates we have talking about like actual people and groups of people and stuff like that in this country and in this world in general.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It was I was happy to see it because like it had the deck kind of stacked against it going in, like in that DC has largely been frustrating to me as of late, and then with the exception of the Batman, and the so they had that go like they had to deal with that. Then it's also Superman, who like I've never really my favorite interactions with Superman have been like, you know, Batman Superman adventures, right? Like I always like those stories, like where Batman versus Superman or them teaming up, whatever. But
I was
like
gonna say
Superman,
that's honestly some of my biggest like Superman stuff was like those cartoons. There's like the Batman the
yeah,
animated series and like the Superman show, which like what was the name of that show actually? Like it's called Batman the animated series, or there was a Superman.
there's the Batman and Superman adventures or
Is that what
something
it
like that.
was? Because
That's the one that, yeah, that
I
where
definitely
they had
remember there
like it,
being a lot of
same
crossover.
show, two different intros, and they would like swap them here and there.
I I feel like I remember Batman the animated series more than I remember the Superman stuff.
Dun
But like,
dun 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 dun. That was the intro.
okay, but I definitely remember watching a good amount of like Superman specific. I remember seeing
Yeah,
like shows with both of them,
yeah,
but I remember
there was
like
Superman.
a fair amount of Superman specific ones, and
Mhm.
that I know way more of the Superman stuff from that than I do from the actual comics themselves.
Yes, same. I mean, like those animated shows like that. I would eat that stuff up. I loved it so much. But like I never really particularly liked Superman, and I did like that he's not just like a blanket like everything's just gonna work out for him because he's like super strong in this. Like the foes they make the foes kind of formidable, and they make their power sets interesting, and they just kind of show you, yeah, he's super strong, but he's not like the strongest thing that exists. And I think that's a good take on it, because I feel like a lot of times that's what you think, right? The Man of Steel like can't be hurt, like all this stuff, but like they made it like, you know, he's fighting this monster and it beats his ass, and like he's like working through it, because I guess because, you know, he's also early Superman, so it's just, I don't
Well,
know, that was really cool.
I know there's a lot of people who have complained about like a lot of these runs of Superman. He's way overpowered, and like I do get that. On the other hand, like the very first iterations of him is like the whole thing was like he can leap over tall buildings, like so he couldn't even like actually fly.
Hmm.
Like he could just jump really high,
Yeah.
like which is not as compelling necessarily, considering like flight is one of those things when you're like, oh, what would you be super like? Oh, I'd be invisible, I'd be able to fly, I'd be super strong, right? Like those are like the
Yeah.
three like typical answers, and it's like, okay, so he's got two of those three things, and you're like sapping them to a point of like you no longer feel like Superman is the right man. It's like, yeah, he's pretty good, man.
Yeah. Pretty good, man.
So, but on the other hand, he is boring when he's way overpowered. Like you need to come up with
Yeah,
credible existential threats that go against Superman. And I think they did a overall
totally.
pretty good job of this. Where like, because then there's stakes. Like if it's the whole thing is, well, he's just gonna punch
Yes.
his way out of this no matter what. It's like, is that interesting? I mean, I know that like in a post golden age of like comics world, like we have a One Punch Man that people really get behind because it dissects the whole idea of like what's the point of all of this, and like that's
Hmm.
fine, but it's a little too philosophical. As much as Superman's going to trend towards some of the philosophical, that's way too much.
Yeah.
But I think they did a good job of striking that
Yeah.
balance again. Well, that phrase, like you know, we need him to be doing
Balance
more
is
than
the key phrase with this movie.
we
Like
need him
they
to do more than leaping over tall buildings, but we don't necessarily
totally.
need him to be just totally running roughshod over everything in his path.
It, yeah, I mean, and like it's like brilliant choice that the first thing that you see is him broken. Like,
Yeah,
and I know that, like not even just in the movie, but trailer wise, right? That's what they showed. That was great. Like that was like setting a little bit of the stage there. Like he's like, and when you see the trailer, you don't know, like, you know, at what point in the movie that's going to take place. Maybe it's a build up to some big fight, whatever. But to start the movie there, it just makes it that much more appealing, because it's like, oh well, they haven't even introduced like a big bad yet, so like this is kind of cool to see that he is not just like all power. But like, granted, you know, next time around he probably won't get the better of him. He'll probably like think about it differently, figure out a way like where he, like, you know, can use his strength to his advantage. And then they layer in the, well, he's not going to be able to solve the world's problems with his fists if the choices that he makes are the things that people are unhappy with. And it's just like a really cool way to just like to exploit more weaknesses of the character that are just not physical related.
yeah.
um I just really appreciated it. I keep getting tripped up on the actor's name because
I still don't 100% know how to pronounce it.
Because the corn is wet. That's what keeps.
That's right. I think that was the last episode that we did. Corn sweat.
The corn sweat. But I think.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you take the corn, you soak it, and then you put it on the grill, and the corn's wet.
And the corn is wet. The corn is wet. Solid casting choice. I liked his. I mean, you have a Superman jaw. Great. Nailed it. You gotta have that, right? But then also just like I liked his just like he just seemed like more of a person. Like he less robotic, like more grounded everyday man, Superman, which I liked. And then I love the play off of him and Lois, and I mean I think Rachel Brosnahan's a great actress, so like the two of them playing off each other was also really good. Like her, I like that she's not really in alignment with what he thinks is like, well, this is the right thing, and she's like, but maybe it's not. Like they like that whole concept, and like he's like, but stop the bad thing. It's like, yes, but at what cost, or like what's going to happen? It's like, but the bad it's like, it's not like she's like explaining it's not black and white. Like it's not just there's fallout to the things that you do and the decisions that you make, and he makes them unilaterally. Like all of those concepts are really interesting, and they touch on them and they explore them. You know, they don't go like insanely deep on them, but they go deep enough where it's like it gets you think about it in the context of the character and what he does. And I think overall they just did a really good job of all of those things. I was just like fully engaged start to finish. I was like, this is probably the best that Superman has been for me, like on the screen, and I was really happy. I mean, granted, over time, I love Henry Cavill, but like I didn't necessarily love those movies. I love the music in those movies.
In the Cavill Snyderverse ones?
Yeah.
Huh. I have to be honest, I can't place any of the music off the top of my head.
Oh, the Man of Steel soundtrack is just tremendous.
Because this one used some of the riffs on the Donner Williams soundtrack, right? Like they were they were quote unquote doing their own thing, but they were very clearly evoking.
It's like sampled or like
that's not a bad.
It was really
mentioning. Yeah.
It was really cool. The music in this was fantastic and like really fit what was going on. Great orchestration. That's the thing. I kind of, in talking about it, I think I might go up. I want to go up to an 8. Like I really had a really good time with this. They also introduced a boatload of characters, and like, you know, that could definitely feel bloated, but he knows how to handle a lot of characters well, I feel like.
I would say of the extended ensemble that they like continued to add to it, was the course, like over the course of it. So you had, was it Mr. Terrific, and you had the Green Lantern. Hawkgirl feel a little bit underdeveloped.
A little, I would agree. Yeah,
because I feel like you did get pretty substantial amount of time with Mr. Terrific, which is cool because he seems kind of inscrutable at the beginning, and then you get to see more of him and what he's about, and like that's not even a character I'm familiar with. So like, giving him so much showcase, and also it was kind of funny. Like he's one of those people who's done the MCU DCU crossover. He was in Days of Future Past, X-Men First Class. As one of the mutants. I know I looked him up, and there was something else I think I recognized him from, but I didn't know. And then you have Nathan Fillion playing the fucking Green Lantern, who, like, everyone,
that hair, man,
it's the worst haircut I've ever seen.
I was what
shocked.
A choice.
I was genuinely shocked. I was like, why did they do this to him? That's not necessary.
Yeah.
And then I was like, they're like, none of them is going to talk about it. And finally, one of them makes a crack about it, and I'm like,
well, that's because he's a dick. So they just made him look like one.
Well, it's so weird because in the trailers, like, they almost pitch him like he's going to be a bad guy, and then like early on in the movie, there's a part of you that wants to like dislike him because it's like, oh, this is kind of fucking crazy and hectic. And it's like ultimately he is a good guy who's trying to do the right thing. So it was interesting to see that sort of like back and forth, like between like what it could have been and all. But like, so I started to feel bad if Triple was like, man, like that hair is rough, and like he's kind of just trying to establish himself with his like ego versus like his like desire to do what's right, and he ultimately you see where he like that push pull like where it leads him to. I think it's right call, and it was funny to see some of how he executes all of that. But he's a fucking weird. I mean, they're all weirdos, but he's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, totally. Oh my god, sorry, in my mind I pictured his hair again. Mr. Terrific, like I didn't know him from like any comics or anything. I've never really read anything with that character, but I did watch Arrow, and he was in that character is in Arrow.
I mean, like there's a certain level where I almost thought that he reminded me a little bit of the Cyborg character that we saw in the Snyderverse, like where because like his mastery of the technology and his whole
he was a little bit, and he was like a robotic delivery, like he like that was like coming through in his personality.
Yes, and also like the fact that he's like more hands off with like the combat stuff. Like he did a little bit of like mix up like fighting, but it was his spheres. It wasn't really like him, which again,
which were badass though. Like,
no, they were cool.
Mechanic,
I could use one or two of them.
I love when he just takes out that entire camp effortlessly. It's just so fun to watch. Like just like really great, like choreographed superhero weapons. So fun. There's, you know what I find? I was gonna say that was weird. I was like, I have the cast up, and I was like, why? I was like, why don't I see Lex? I must have just accidentally scrolled past it, but Nicholas Hoult coming in hot with a great Lex Luthor. Just like, super rich, very intelligent, pure hatred for Superman because he's the one thing that he can't be. And like it's just like it's just so, his motivations are so childish, but he's so good at being this like little dweeb with all the power. Like I was blown away. I thought the performance was fantastic.
Yeah. No, I liked him. I mean, he's a good actor to begin with, right? But like, it was good because it was kind of they walked the line between trying to like come up with a new take on this, but also like still pulling some of the stuff from like stuff in the past. I think they went too far with the whole like sniveling, annoying thing with the Snyderverse ones, but I thought they did a good job of establishing this as like this is an ice cold character who you should fear because of his brutality and his intellect, but it's not someone you're gonna be afraid of, like him coming and kicking your ass, right? Like so,
right?
Like that was like that is an interesting way to like come up with all that. I mean, his mind games and everything he does is supposed to be like one of the overarching things with Superman, right? But and so like seeing that like with this here, they did a good job of showing his like how vile his resentment is, and it took him a while to finally like unleash like what that's about and why he's doing it all. But you do feel like he hates Superman like in a real authentic way. Like it doesn't actually feel like a script contrivance.
Yeah. It's a pure hatred. I was trying to pull up his name because I couldn't. Okay, the Jimmy Olsen's character, with what's the actor's name?
He's always gonna be Gideon to me from
Costanzo.
Yeah, he's been in a couple things, but he's always going to be the son from Righteous Gemstones.
Okay,
the older son, because I mean it's like not that much of a spoiler, but it's a spoiler. Like he's kind of playing almost like a dual role in the beginning, where he's like the prodigal son, but he's also like kind of sort of the bad guy.
Okay,
and there's like that whole like mystery getting him like unveiled. I'm always going to kind of view him as that role for whatever reason. It's going to take me a while. Like I don't know why, like, because he was like, so, and it's funny because it wasn't the first thing I saw him in either. He was in, I think it was the last National Treasure movie. I think he plays like Ben Stiller's son, where it was like a recast where like from like the second to the third movie, they picked an older actor to play like his older son in the third one.
National Treasure.
No, not Treasure. Night at the Museum.
Night at the Museum.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. Oh, okay. That's actually, I think that's what I know him from.
And like that's not exactly who he was playing in these other roles, and like I don't know. He's always going to be Gideon from Righteous Gemstones to me, I think, but
Sure.
He kind of was perfectly cast in this. Like, there's, I don't know. I thought he was like he seems kind of like dopey early on, and then you see like he's got like a little bit more substance to him, and then like seeing like if we're going to continue to expand out this world into like as we like create more and more nuance, where it's like he seems like such a dope at the beginning. And then you see this girl that he's got this on again, off again thing with, and is like, oh, she's a totally complete, barely functional ditz. And he's like, no, that's too far. Like, I'm a dope. That's too far. that's too far on the spectrum. I can't go there. But also, I kind of need to. And there's part of me that kind of does like you, but also there's part of me that hates myself for liking you.
Right. All that was great. All the great breakdown.
That's and listen, exactly like, she's a stage 5 clinger. Like, we know this. It's okay. It's fine. And also, like, she's a total dope. And I'm still not sure. Is it intentional or is it a total accident that she keeps taking the selfies in front of everything that like matters?
It's intentional.
I think so. But there is an idiot savant like level of this where it's like, hang on a second. Is this just like a total perfect?
Like that was the thing though. He thinks that she's so dumb. But meanwhile, she's giving all of the answers to them like very like it's secretively and like well done. I just that whole the way that all unfolded as it was unfolding, I was like, I love this. Like I love that all of these photos have all of the information.
The thing is, it probably is intentional because like it's too targeted. But on like the other hand, there was a part of me that almost wondered, like in this story, is she that much of a ditz and she's just taking pictures of all these things, like trying to make herself like seem more central to all of this and more like important? Because like there is early on before he's like a total and fucking like unbelievable prick to her, where it's like, oh, there's like a worship aspect of her like treating him like a god, right? And then you see as it goes on, like I almost wondered whether is there a certain point along the line where she realizes, oh, this is bad, I don't want to be involved with this, and then she's going back to look back at like all these times of like, oh, she was obsessed with him, and then like it clicking in her mind, like, hang on a second, I have a way to do something about this.
No, I feel like it was the other way. I feel like she was doing it intentionally, and it was a really smart thing that she was doing, but she like very much was like wanted to make him happy, and it was like trying to help him so that he would love her. Like type of like it was.
It could be either or both of those things. Like it's, and she does seem to kind of bounce from one obsession to the next because like there's not really a good reason for her and Lex to be a thing. Like half the movie he's barely even acknowledging she exists. So like I think there is like a legitimate question there, but then she's also like obsessed with Jimmy, right? Like she is, so like she does seem like just in general she's like the addictive personality thing where like they love too hard, they are too aggressively after this and that, and like they can't like mediate and moderate those things within them. But there is a weird level of cunning involved in there, and a person who seems like they're totally disconnected from everything that's going on.
Totally. There is I was just looking up. There's who's Gary?
I don't know who.
Oh, he's one of the robots. Oh. One of the robots.
All the robots were like cameos of like their.
So Gary was Alan Tudyk. Number 1 was Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
Number 5 was Palm Clementif.
Those are the big ones I knew were in there, but apparently there was like a bunch more of them. So
number 12 was Grace Chan. Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of robots. That's pretty cool. I also do love that. I love that he always puts. Like he's got all his people, right? Everybody that works with him seems to really enjoy working with him. So like to see like he brings his friends back into like all these roles. Obviously, his brother shows up later in the movie. I've always been a fan of that, of like that type of thing. The big twist of the message from Superman's parents actually being like, we're go here so that you can like bring like they're dumb. Just go take these, like use this, bring us all back. Like that's like that whole thing. That was a cool twist. That being said, was that legitimate or was that a Lex game?
I mean, it does seem like they lean towards it being legitimate, but
Yeah.
when you consider the lengths he was willing to go, and the fact that like this should be like a totally unreliable thing where it's them breaking in and releasing this, I did wonder whether they had like totally doctored it or not. And there's even like at some point, isn't there some reference to like, oh, is this real? It's like, well, they wouldn't put it out there if it wasn't. It's like, I don't know about all that.
Right. They absolutely would. But like, I even like, I don't know. They packed a lot into this movie without it feeling. I don't really think it felt bloated. But they managed to do a bunch of different things and bring in a bunch of different characters that like, you could do a one-off movie on like pieces of what they crammed in. So it was pretty cool to see them kind of balance that whole thing of like giving you a bunch of stuff, getting some characters on screen that have never been on the big screen before, using the what was that character's name? That he made the kryptonite. I already forgot his name.
Oh, I forgot what the character was called.
That was really cool, right? To keep Superman down in his like interdimensional prison, like that was all of that stuff was really cool, visually stunning. I loved the artwork of that like in between dimension world, and then especially with like the black hole in the middle of it, and then it's starting to kind of eat into and break down the world outside. That the whole like concept and thought work that goes into that was really awesome and well executed, leading all the way up to keeping that little bit of camp in there. That post credit scene. Did you stick around for that?
I did, but I'm drawing a blank now on what it was.
It was they basically like where the city had split. They like kind of get it kind of pulled back together, and the building is just like slightly not aligned. And they're just looking at it sideways, and Mr. Terrific is just annoyed that he's about to say something about it. It's great. It's very silly. I like that. You got to keep it light. It's just a lot of fun. And then on top of all that, maybe one of it's a great shtick in superhero movies, especially Avengers with Hulk and Loki. But when the dog just absolutely obliterates Lex.
Oh yeah.
In the what a tremendous scene. Like laughing, I was laughing so hard that my stomach. It's just like it's so stupid, but it's so funny, and in that moment you want him to be so hurt.
Well, and the recurring bit about like the good dog, bad dog thing, and then like seeing where it pays off and where it's like, hang on, no, you've gone too far. Like, yeah, yeah, that was a good addition. The whole crypto thing. I have to say, I was not expecting the thing at the end with I guess it's Supergirl, right?
Supergirl.
Like,
Thanks for watching my dog. Was she like supposed to be like drunk?
Well, he said something about she likes to party.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So yeah. I totally forget what because he's Kal-El, right? I forget what her name is supposed to be because I've never really like been in on like the Supergirl stuff. Yeah. I didn't get around to watching that show, and obviously I never was like a comics reader. So, but I think I did know at a certain point that was what's her name from House of Dragon, right? Was it Millie?
Yeah, I think so.
Millie Alcock, I think, right?
I'm trying to find. Anyway, I'll pull it up if I can.
At some point I knew that she was in this movie, and I totally forgot about it. And then that scene happened, and I was like, "Oh, hey, look, there she is. She's doing her thing."
Kara, that's the other name.
Okay,
Kara Zor-El. Let me see. Millie Alcock.
Yeah.
So, and is that the next? That's not the next movie that's coming.
Oh, I forget. I know we talked about it in the past when like they first started lining up these things, like what all like the timeline of all these things are supposed to be. I don't remember.
Let's see. Supergirl is 2026, along with Clayface. And yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, that was fun. Just and I always that's the thing that works when you're building out like this type of like long running universe of interconnected movies. It's like a nice little tease of another character who's coming in or like who's like part of the next one. I loved that part of the MCU, right? Like where the post credit scene gave you like the tease of what's to come. It was just such a great formula, and like I think they did it right here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it didn't feel like they were totally like a slave to. We got to set up all these things. Like they tried to make this movie. Like this is a movie that exists fully within its own right, and yet it still doesn't feel inauthentic to start like handing a baton to the next things after that.
Totally. Loved it. Love it. Want to watch it again? Excited to see it again. Any other notes on Superman, Al?
I mean, I liked some of the ways that the whole thing with the Pocket universe was cool. I liked they set up this whole like existential thing where it's we can totally control it, we can do whatever we want with it, and then we're going to create this unlike tenable circumstance where it's going to start like eating the earth to whatever extent. I thought it was cool. They had all these different like avenues to it, and it's like it should be obvious at the beginning, and it's not, and then they start coming up with all these different like things. They have this whole the Pocket universe where they're storing all these quote unquote peoples of interest. We'll call it, and that whole sequence was cool where they're going in for the prison break.
The prison break was great,
right? That I totally forgot what that character was, but that was the cool idea. The whole like he could turn into any element, and he's turning into kryptonite to keep him weak, and he turned into all these different things, and ends up becoming a part of the group itself, which was kind of cool. So that was interesting.
Metamorpho?
That sounds right.
Is that his name?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, that was sick. But then like also like even that like to go deep enough to give a compelling reason why he's doing it and like trying to save his son who's
he felt like a real character because you're sympathetic to him, and yet you also are like, hey dude, like fucking figure it out here.
Right. Oh man, that was really cool. I also, totally forgot about the like that others. What do they call him? The other that other Superman that was like his like the clone. The reason why like he was having such a hard time beating this other villain that was like had the mask on. When he pulls the mask off, it's actually a clone of Superman that Lex had created. Like that whole concept too of like Lex being so obsessed with him that he was able to construct this his equal and then use that because Lex himself couldn't fight Superman, but he could fight it with his mind and these mechanics. Like that was really sick. And how is he going to win if he keeps one upping him or knowing like what his moveset is and is able to like instantly get that like reaction back from this what was that character's name? From this other Superman. I thought that was funny. I also thought what was interesting is when they pulled the mask off, I know that it was this Superman, but it was also very much looked like Henry Cavill in that moment when the mask came off, and I was like, by design.
I mean, we talked about it from the beginning when he was first cast. Like, on the one hand, I get it, but on the other hand, he is very obviously kind of like vulturing from the Cavill stuff, which I mean, it's not his fault. Like, it's more the fault of whether it's the studio or whoever who wants to make that call. And it's like, you can just get a guy with dark hair and a good jaw. It doesn't have to be a guy who looks exactly like him.
Yeah. Ultraman.
Okay.
The Hammer of Boravia.
That was definitely a thing. The definitely real and non-fictional superhero of this tiny country that has no reason that it would have a specific high-tech superhero of his own. The whole thing, there was if you want to talk about the campy thing, the dictator from was it Boravia, I guess, was certainly entertaining in his own ridiculous way.
Yeah. Gave me. I mentioned Eurotrip earlier. It gave me Miami Vice #1 new show. Do you remember that scene?
No, I've never actually seen Eurotrip. So.
Oh, okay. Oh man, good stuff. Well, I think we've rambled on about Superman long enough. I'm just so glad that we're back in this age of entertaining movies coming out that you can go to the theater and see, and like there seems to be a wealth of them right now. So it's wonderful. That's all for this week's episode of Flicks and a Six. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you have a movie for us to review or nuggets for us to discuss, you can send those requests to flicksandasix@thespintune.com. Tune in next week for more movie and beer goodness. Until then, I'm Anthony Costanzo.
I'm Biolsi.
Thanks for coming out.